there. You can feel it.
Get up on out the bed and start to move your balls. Wake up with Word and Solomon Jones. Word. You better wake up now.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Wake Up with Word. And I don't know, I think it's supposed to rain today, Kawesa, but you know what? That's a good thing for my grass. That's a good thing for the grass. You know I'm always thinking about the grass at this point.
I know.
You know. So it even looks like, wait a minute, it looks like some of the spots where I put too much lawn food and it looked like hay. It looks like some of those spots might be greening up a little bit, Kawesa.
Ooh, look at that.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
You know, look at God. God said, I'm going to restore it. All the things that the locust and the cankerworm have taken away. Look here. It's there. We're going to see. So I welcome the rain. It shouldn't be that much anyway. And I think the next couple of days are going to be sunny. It's been nice so far. It hasn't been like real hot. You know, global warming, I know, is still a thing. But it hasn't been like real hot. So I'm enjoying it so far, Kawhi. So what about you?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it too. I actually went for a walk yesterday. I went around my neighborhood.
All right.
Did about 2 miles. So, you know, feeling good.
Yeah.
I felt so good that I went home, showered, ate, and forgot to vote yesterday.
Oh, wow.
First time in 14 years.
Wow. That's what that morning schedule will do to you.
I knew in the morning.
Have you out here forgetting.
I knew in the morning.
You know, have you out here forgetting. And because you didn't vote, the Democratic establishment did what they do in New Jersey. So thank you, Kawesa, for your diligence.
Oh, my God. I was so hurt.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes your body will tell you. I know my body getting ready to tell me soon because I'm operating on fumes at this point because we got a whole lot of things that we are moving forward with. And so I was up pretty late last night, man, planning, pushing, because there is something that we are going to do together. Because after yesterday's show, I could feel the pain of the community. I could feel the frustration of my people. I could feel the weight of responsibility. And so I filled out a form, paid an event fee, and went to the city's event office to get a permit for a protest. Because we can't go on this way. We can't go on with open racism in the police department. We can't go on paying taxes just so we can be abused. We can't go on thinking there's nothing we can do to make change. So on Friday, this Friday at 12 noon, I'm going to be at police headquarters at 8th and Race demanding that the 330 cops who made racist, bigoted, and offensive Facebook posts be taken off the streets. And I'll be doing that thanks to our listeners. I'll have my bullhorn like Ron from North Philly. I'll be calling out our political leaders like Gary from Southwest. I'll be recounting our history like Madeline from West Philly. I'll be giving it national context like Erica from Chicago. I'm going to be in the street demanding change in a rally for justice. The question now is this: will the callers get off the phones and get in the street? Will the listeners open their mouths to shout for justice? When I hit these streets on Friday, I need each one of you with me. Because the only way to win the battle for right is to get out in these streets and fight. We got a jam-packed show for you today on Wake Up with Word. Shannon Farrell of the Harrogate Civic Association is back to talk about the Drexel study that claims Kensington residents want a safe injection site when Farrell has thousands of signatures that say just the opposite. Plus, Temple professor Lynn Washington gives some context on Trump's trip to England. Kathy Posinger of the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development on the state shortage of affordable housing. And Dear Melanie answers another one of those questions you simply must have answered. And as always, we've got you, our listeners, calling in at 215-634-8065 or toll free 1-866-361-0900. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at onWURD, or you can hit me personally at Solomon Jones 1. You can, of course, watch us on Facebook at onWURD. You can also watch on my page at Solomon.Jones. But first, It is the big three, the news stories you need to know to kick off your day right here on Wake Up with Word. Story number one, watch out Corner Store Caroline, watch out Starbucks Stella, watch out Permit Patty. That's right, Oregon moved to crack down on racially motivated 911 calls on Monday, responding to a series of publicized incidents across the country where predominantly white civilians called the police on black people going about everyday activities like napping or barbecuing. I think it's a good thing because victims of those calls would be able to sue the caller now for up to $250 under a measure overwhelmingly approved by the state Senate. Sound like something we need to be copying here. Kawesa, what do you think?
Oh, I definitely think this needs to be national. This needs to go to every single state.
That's right.
In the country. And so that people are not just out here, we're living our lives. We are trying to live our lives, and y'all calling the police on us over dumb stuff.
Over nothing.
Over nothing. So, yeah, I totally agree with this, and I hope that this is some legislation that can be pushed all over the country.
Yep, I agree. So that's an interesting thing for Oregon because Oregon started out, its history is that it was an all-white place for people to settle. And other folks who were not white were not allowed in Oregon. And so to see Oregon progress to this point, I think is a fantastic thing, not only for them, but for the rest of us. I agree with you, Kawesa. It needs to be replicated across the country. Story number two, a Drexel study says that a majority of the community in Kensington supports a proposed safe injection site in Philadelphia. This is what Drexel claims, that a majority of residents and business owners and staff in Philadelphia's Kensington neighborhood support opening a safe injection site in their community. That's according to a study led by researchers at Drexel's Dornsife School of Public Health, published today in the Journal of Urban Health. The study's lead author, Alexis M. Roth, Ph.D., of Drexel University's Dornsife School of Public Health, said it was important to get community input. Drexel researchers conducted in-person surveys of 360 adult residents and 79 business owners and staff in Kensington. Potential study participants were approached in the neighborhood or at their business establishment and asked how often they saw drug-related activity and whether they support a safe injection site in Kensington. More than 90% have witnessed public injection. And 90% of residents, according to Drexel, I got to laugh because I've been down there. 90% of residents, they say, and 63% of business owners, they say, and staff surveyed were in favor of a safe injection site opening in the Kensington neighborhood. Are you buying it, Kawesa?
I'm not buying it at all.
Come on, man.
I'm not buying it. Ain't no one's gonna be happy about, and on top of that though, the other piece is that, you open the safe injection site, but is it gonna really prevent people from shooting up in the street still? It's not.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And one of the things that I learned about people who were addicted to heroin, when I was on the street and going through my addiction, is that people who are addicted to heroin, it's a physical need. And so they need it. And if they got to wait 5 minutes, 10 minutes, they not going to make it. That's why you see them shooting up on the street. That's why you see them nodding out on steps. That's why you see them in alleyways and back of daycare centers. That's why you see them like that, because once they get it, they cannot wait. And so this whole safe injection sites are going to clean up all the needles in your community. Safe injection site is going to stop crime in your community. That's hogwash. That might be true in Vancouver. Dog, this ain't Vancouver. That much I can guarantee you. And here's the other thing they said in this study that just made me laugh out loud. They said that black people were more likely to favor safe injection sites than white people. Black people do not favor no safe injection site. Are you out of your mind? And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, because there's some stuff about this Dornsife School at Drexel, and there's some stuff about the lead researcher on this that y'all going to need to know, because there is some bias in this study, if I'm reading my facts correctly. Story number three, it began with a phone call from a man who asked me a question. Why, he asked, do we keep talking about the racist and offensive Facebook posts by nearly 330 Philadelphia cops while never standing up to hold those cops accountable? I paused for a moment, realizing that he was right, and it was then that I decided to do something about it. So this Friday at 12 noon, I will lead a protest called Rally for Justice at police headquarters at 8th and Race. And at that protest, our demands will be simple. Remove the 330 officers from street duty, thoroughly investigate each one of them, fire those that should no longer be on the force, and charge those that may have committed crimes. And after all that is said and done, there's one other thing that must happen in order to make Philadelphia whole. The culture of the police department must change. That means every cadet who enters the academy must know that racism is out. That means protecting the public must come before protecting each other. That means police who engage in bigotry must face decisive justice. Because you can't effectively patrol my community if you hate me. You can't protect and serve me if you hate me. You shouldn't have that badge if you hate me. And you sure shouldn't have a taxpayer-funded gun if you hate me. Hate is what makes some cops shoot unarmed black men in the back. Hate is what makes some cops laugh when black people are killed. That's why Facebook posts that illustrate that kind of hate must result in firings without so much debate. Because as a man thinks, so is he. And if you think my people are animals, you'll treat us that way. That's why we have to stand against a system that turns such thoughts to actions. And when we stand, we must demand change. So we demand a change in the system that allows our people to be randomly stopped and frisked. We demand a change in a system that allows only 6 in 10 murders to be solved. We demand a change in a system that allows 5% of the cops to control 100% of the narrative. And that's why I'm calling on Philadelphia. I'm calling on my word audience. I'm calling on our family and our people to stand with me this Friday at noon at 8th and Race to rally for our people, to rally for our city, and to rally for justice. Because we can't just keep complaining about racism. We have to do something to confront it. I want to know where you at on this. Are you going to be with us this Friday at noon as we go to 8th and Race and we protest? And we demand the removal of these officers from our streets, because you cannot patrol my community with a gun, with a badge, and with the force of law behind you if you hate me. I mean, it just explains a whole lot. If you are on Facebook talking about black people are animals, if you are on Facebook talking about killing Muslims, if you're on Facebook talking about anybody that disagrees with Donald Trump and is out in the street protesting needs to be run over with a car, these are some of the posts that they were posting. And so now you see that, it makes sense that Ryan Pownell shot 2 black people in the back. It makes sense that David Jones was killed by a police officer. It begins to make sense. Like, all of these things begin to make sense because that's your mindset. And we have to fight against that mindset. And so for all of those who called me and said, you know what are we going to do about it? This is what we're going to do about it. We are going to rally for justice. This Friday at 12 noon, we are going to be at 8th and Race. We are going to be at police headquarters. And I want to know if you're going to stand with me. 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number we are calling to get in on the conversation this morning at WURD Radio. Let me know, man, are you going to be out there with us? Are you going to be standing with us? Are you going to be down with us as we go down to the police headquarters, this Friday at 12 noon? Brother Joe is on the line. Good morning, Brother Joe.
Hey, Brother Solomon and Queen Quincy. How y'all doing this morning?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. All praise be to Allah. Yeah, Brother Solomon, let me say this to you real quick. First of all, Solomon, I applaud you for having that rally. Inshallah, I plan on being there this Friday with you, to stand with you, Brother Solomon. I think it's a great idea. I think it's long overdone. So I definitely plan on being there this Friday. Allah willing to be there with you, to stand up with you, brother. And I was telling Queen Quincy yesterday, I was downtown. You know, I was up for some training, and I happened to, I was walking down Center City, and I had my Orioles baseball cap on. So long story short, Solomon, it's ironic how it happened. And so I'm walking down, so this police officer was sitting in this car. He's a brother and stuff. I wasn't really paying him too much attention, so he saw my Orioles hat. So he said, "Hey, buddy, what's your Orioles fan?" So I told him, after basically, I said I became an Orioles fan. My grandmother helped me become an Orioles fan back in the 70s. So we got to talking, and since we was talking about baseball, I just automatically, Solomon, just broke into the police thing. I said, "Brother, I'm not trying to put you on the spot." I said, "I just want to talk to you, black man to black man." I said, and he was a high-ranking cop. He had the stripe, had the white shirt on and the stripes. So I said, "Brother," I said, it bothers me. I said, too often, I said, y'all brothers in the police department, so I'm not saying y'all individually because I don't know you. I said, but too often, I said that y'all as black cops, y'all sit back and let these white police officers mistreat our people and stuff. I said, y'all let them do to us what they would not let y'all do to their people. I said, if their people committed murder, they wouldn't let y'all come into the Northeast or wherever in South Philly and shoot down and beat down white suspects. They wouldn't let y'all do it. And I said, because that wouldn't happen. And he shocked me, Solomon. He said, "You right, bro?" He said, "I'm concerned." And he said, "Look, bro," he said, "I got a teenage son." He said, "Of course I'm concerned about what's going on." He said, "Those posts definitely disturbed me and stuff." He said, "I was talking to some other brothers on the police department about it." He said, "We realized that what we got to do now." So he said that some of the brothers that he was talking to, they're going to, band together and stand up against this kind of stuff. I said, "That's all we asking you to do, brother."
And that is all we asking you to do, Brother Joe. We got to move on, but I hear you, man. I'll see you on Friday at noon. I was out with the police in the 14th District yesterday. Because they were doing a water ice thing. It's their 5th year doing it. They give out water ice to the kids in the community, have like a little party thing. Shout out to the officer that was DJing yesterday because he was kicking it. I got to be honest with you. But, I was out there with him because I support you if you're doing right. I support you if you're doing right. But if you're doing wrong, I have to stand up against it. We have to stand up against it. We have to stop being silent, man, about stuff that's wrong. And just like Brother Joe, I talked to some of those officers yesterday, and they said they're disturbed by what they saw about this Facebook stuff. They're disturbed by the attitudes of some of the people that they work with. And so I told them that we would be out there protesting. They said, "Look, we support that." Do you know what I mean? And that's what we have to start doing, man. We have to start supporting each other. When the cause is right, we need to be supporting it. So I'm looking to see who's going to get off the phone, get on the street, and be down there at 8th and Race this Friday at 12 noon. I got the permit out my own pocket, all right? Because it's that important, man. I need y'all down there raising your voices against this mess because it makes our community unsafe. Abdul on the cell phone is online too. Go ahead, Abdul.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
Good morning.
Yeah, I was just wondering, man, has anybody heard if any charges have been brought against that guy who jumped up on the stage when Sister Camilla was up there speaking in California?
Yeah. I don't know if any charges have been brought up against him.
Well, I think that's a shame because
what would be the charge?
Aggravated assault or some kind of assault. Because it was a threatening environment. And that's all. The woman's a senator. And I figure at least there should be something. There should be some kind of charges.
Yeah.
We should hear about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, but we'll look that up and we'll see, okay?
Well,
are you in Philly?
Yes.
You going to be down there on Friday?
I work, brother.
I work too.
Yeah.
I work too. That's why we had it at lunchtime.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right.
Well, I got to check it out and see, all right?
All right, man. I'll talk to you later. And we appreciate you, and we'll look that up, and we'll see if we can find that information. We're going to go to break, and on the other side, we're going to get to our callers who are waiting. Shelby from North Philly, Jacob from Olney, I see you. If you want to get in, give us a call at 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Listen to Word Radio on the go with the Word Radio app. Search for WURD in your favorite app store today and take us with you wherever you go. Stay connected to Word Radio, independent black media. The Kimmel Center for the Performing Arts presents Philadelphia hip-hop legend Rennie Harris. In his new work, Functified, Harris's Pure Movement company pushes the boundaries of street dance to create a multimedia performance set to the soundtrack of 1970s funk music and more. Through live musicians and the creation of an eclectic soundscape, audiences are drawn into Harris's personal journey from the cultural funk music to the evolution of hip-hop. Rennie Harris, Functified. 3 performances only, June 7th and 8th. Tickets at kimmelcenter.org.
Word family.
Here's a deal from Dietz & Watson that you don't want to miss.
Stop into any Brown ShopRite this week to take advantage of the Dietz & Watson turkey sale. Just $6.99 per pound for the best turkey around. Running today through Sunday. Stop into any Brown ShopRite location and pick up something for the whole family.
1 week only. Get yours today. Dietz & Watson. It's a family thing.
Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM. WURD.
New Voices for Reproductive Justice is hosting Shades, a celebration of Black queer identities and expressions, on June 6th at 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. at Somo Sophie, 3101 South 13th Street. Shades is a fundraiser party celebrating 15 years of New Voices serving Black women, femmes, and girls. Queen Fierce, DJ Marceline, and Black Rap Medusa will be in the building. Join us for our Voices of Change Awards, enjoy great food, drink, and more. Come out and lift every shade. Get tickets at shadesphilly.eventbrite.com.
Hey loves, Word Radio celebrates Black Music Month with the next installment of the Walter P. Lomax Jr. MD Speaker Series presents Word Speaks. What's going on? Philly's next generation in Black music.
At the Barnes Foundation, located at 2025 Benjamin Franklin Parkway, Friday, June 7th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Doors open at 5 p.m. The event is part of the Barnes' first Friday celebration of Marvin Gaye, taking place immediately following the Word panel discussion.
The panel will feature musicians, DJs, and music leaders whose work aim to amplify the voices of the next generation. Panelists include Solomon Thorne of Songs for the Soul Philly, DJ Geek and Sunny D of the Female Takeover, DJ Reezy from Black Mall Street, and Word's own Kayla J. West.
Moderated by me, the rapping professor Aaron Smith,
and me, Sincerely Sarita, host of The Lounge.
The discussion will also explore how they use their platforms to build community and create spaces to address what's going on in the world today. Seats are limited, so RSVP today at WURDradio.com or call 215-425-7875.
Word Speaks. What's Going On is presented in partnership with the Barnes Foundation and sponsored by Comcast NBC Universal, Pico, and Moravia Health. Now, a traffic update
On Word Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Southbound 95, you're going to find that at a jam now. Cobman Avenue down through Girard, northbound through the city. Not bad. Westbound Vine Parkway through the Schuylkill. That is busy. Schuylkill eastbound the lace 202 to the Blue Route. Disabled vehicle there. Then your jam Boulevard to the Vine. Westbound jam past Yonka 30th. Again, the Boulevard out the Gladwin. You're heavy. Southbound Blue Route busy. Norristown through the Schuylkill Expressway. Again, Broomall to Route 1. Northbound 95 up to Route 1. Heavy there. Delays 42 northbound. Getting heavy 168 through 295. 55 jam Deptford into 42 now this morning.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America invites you to take steps for cures at a walk event near you. Support the 1.6 million Americans living with these diseases. Get started at cctakesteps.org.
For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. Always good to hear a little Run DMC in the morning. I came up on that, Kawesa. I used to be trying to mix. I could not mix. I could not for the for the life of me. That's back when we had what you call component sets, right? We didn't have two turntables. I know you don't know. I know. It's okay. That's why I'm explaining it. That's why I'm explaining what it is, Kawesa. It's a component set was like and mine, I think, had an 8-track on it. So you know how. Yeah, but it had the record player on top. It had an 8-track, and I think it had a cassette as well. And so all of that stuff was together. Had two little speakers. I'm on there trying to mix and scratch and all of that. I never could do it. Never could do it. That's why I appreciated the officer yesterday who was on the 1s and 2s up there in the 14th district as they were doing their water ice giveaway and safety information for kids up there yesterday. We appreciated them, man. And see, that's the kind of stuff you can support. But I can't support racism. I can't support injustice. I can't support allowing officers who are on Facebook saying stuff like death to Islam. I can't support cops who are on Facebook saying stuff like, these are your effing Miranda rights. You have the right to shut the F up. Anything you say will cause me to effing punch you in your throat. That's what they're saying on Facebook, right? I can't support you on Facebook calling my people animals. I can't support you on Facebook when a black person gets killed saying, well done. I can't support that, right? And if you're still on the street, I got to speak up against it. And that is why I'm going to be leading a protest on Friday at 12 noon at 8th and Race. I already went down. I got the permit. We're already lining up those who are going to be speaking. But I need you there. I need you standing up for your community, because as long as these people are patrolling our streets, we are in danger. And we can't let 5% of the police department dictate how we view 100% of the police department. 6,500 officers here in Philadelphia. 328 of them, I think, were cited for these Facebook posts. They need to be off the street. Put them on desk duty. And I need y'all on the street Friday at 12 noon at 8th and Race as we go down and rally for justice. So I'm going to go to the phone lines because I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let's go to Shelby from North Philly on line 3. Go ahead, Shelby.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
All right, man. You touched my heart this morning. I'm with you. I'm gonna get my wife with me with you.
Thank you, brother.
I'll be there early.
All right.
Cause I live in that area. You patrolled it the other day. I live near that area.
Okay.
I know what's going on, and I know things that happen to me. So you got me, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Shelby, we look forward to seeing you on Friday. Jacob from Olney is on line 4. Good morning, Jacob.
Peace be unto you, Brother Solomon. How you doing this morning?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
Oh man, I'm blessed.
Good.
Could I just say Eid Mubarak to the Muslims who completed their fasting, and today is our Eid. I just want to say that first. But Solomon, you know, this situation is so important. I might have to miss Jumu'ah Friday because I might bring my prayer around. There should be enough Muslims down there if we want to break off to the side and do a little Jumu'ah. We can do that. But my thing is, Solomon, if we don't act on this, my question would be, what is wrong with us, right? With the facts that you put out, right? I mean, how can we have this? And like you said, we're paying them.
Yep.
We're paying them to abuse us. And then if we don't do anything about it, I don't know, in a way, I ain't going to say we deserve it, but what would you say? You know?
Yeah.
Look, man, look, I don't care what happens, man, God willing, I'm gonna have to be there. I'm working in that area, so like I said again, I might have to call my imam and say, look, I might not make it today because I'm down here doing what God would have us do.
That's right.
And that is, we can't take this sitting down. We got to stand up. Right?
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Brother Solomon.
Thank you. Thank you,
Peace
Jacob.
be unto you.
Peace be unto you, too. We appreciate that. And we are going to go back to the phone lines. We're going to talk with our next caller. Maurice from Southwest is on line 1. Go ahead, Maurice.
Solomon, I know you never heard me say this, but thank God for Solomon.
Thank you, man.
Because you know what? This got to be done. If you want to get people fired up to go to the event, all they got to do is go to YouTube and put in Philly cops. If that don't get you crazy, because most cops don't know the law, but they try to tell you about the law, and they don't even know the law. So that should get them fired up to be down there. And you need to take this to Inside Story, man. You really do.
I hear you.
We'll leave it at that.
I hear you.
On what I've been praying for.
Thank you, Maurice. Thank you, man. We appreciate you, and thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Again, for those just joining us, we are going to be rallying for justice at the police headquarters at 8th and Race this Friday at 12 noon. We need y'all there early. Get down there early. Get down there like, 11:30, quarter of. We need y'all down there early. We have our permit. We are going to be protesting, and we are asking for, no, we are demanding that the officers who are named in this data, who posted all kinds of Facebook postings that were unbelievably racist, unbelievably intolerant, unbelievably bigoted, that they be removed from the street until an investigation can be completed. Because if that's how you think, if you think that black people are animals, if you think that we should be killed, we should be maimed, we should be hurt, if you think that we should be treated as less than human, then you're a danger to us if you're on the street with a badge and a gun. You're endangering my community. You're endangering my children, my wife, myself. You're endangering us. And so I need them off the street until such time we can show that, okay, this person is okay to patrol in these communities. But beyond that, there has to be a culture change in the police department, because you have a culture that allows you to do this stuff. You have a culture that says it's okay to be racist. You have a culture that says no matter what you do, we're going to back you up and put you back out on the street. That's a danger to the people, man. You're endangering my people. I cannot sit and just allow that. And neither should you. That's why I need you there. Friday at 12 noon, we're going to be at the Roundhouse right there at 8th and Race. We're going to be there, and I need you to be there too. Kuwaisa, it comes down to more than just voting. It comes down to more than just talking, more than just discussing, more than just theorizing. Sometimes you got to get in the street.
Yeah, you do. And I think you always say it best. What is it? Prayer without works is dead. You know,
it's
so
dead.
You got to get out there and, you know, so yeah, do your part to vote, but then also make sure that you are engaging and you are, you know, active in what's going on in your community, or else things won't change. You got to hold the people accountable who are in office. You might have had every intention of voting for the greatest person, and then they get in there and they're just sitting, you know, on their thumbs. So, you know, this is necessary. It's important. And we need to be able to do this. And so, I'm definitely going to, get down there, too, with you and, support, because I think that it is necessary.
Absolutely. It is absolutely necessary. And we are at a time now where it's summertime. And so our children are going to be out there in the street. And you got these guys riding around that's saying this stuff publicly. And it's a national story at this point. It's a national embarrassment at this point. And so, there are police officers who I've talked to. There are police officers, Brother Joe talked to one yesterday, who believe that this is wrong and that something needs to be done about it. And they have to work with these people every day. So all of us are in danger from these people who see us as animals, who see us as less than, who see us as expendable. And it explains a whole lot about, well, man, why are black people always the one who are being abused? Well, this is why. Because this is how they're thinking. Because they're thinking that, this person is an animal, this person is a savage, this person is a thug. Every thug deserves a slug. That's one of the things come on, man. And, you take that to its logical conclusion. When you think that every black man you see is a thug, then what is that saying? I need y'all down there, man. 12 o'clock, we're going to be there at police headquarters at 8th and Race. And we're going to be rallying for justice this Friday. I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. Lulu from Mayfair is on line 1. Go ahead, Lulu.
Good morning. I just want to say that I'm in prayer for this type of activity that we're taking as we come together in love and in unity. And our anticipation is to be justice. And also for those people to remind them also, you're talking about your own mother, father, sister, brother, uncles, cousins. How can you call your own race? Because the people you're talking about, it's just not, you just can't segregate them and say, well, these people are Italian or they're whoever, whatever. They're us who have these positions and jobs. And where do they get this type of slave mentality? All I know is when we come together like this, it's going to work. We'll be brave and we'll come there, and our anticipation is not to come there wild or crazy.
That's right.
We stand in unity and love and strength.
That's right.
And God will bless us, and He will solidify us with truth and justice. Justice will go forth. So, and even when we disperse, I want to just talk about our conduct, because it's new to some people, and some others been doing this before. So again, sir, just talk about how we should come together, because it's our time. But
Yeah.
God is going to bless, and this is no mess. It is not going to be any mess. God bless you, and may God and peace be upon all of us.
God bless you too. God bless you too. Thank you so much, Lulu. And, you know, we're covering it in prayer. I mean, I got to be honest. And so those of you who pray, you know, begin to pray. Begin to pray that there will be a positive outcome. Begin to pray that our demands will be met. Begin to pray that the culture that created the possibility for this will begin to change. Cover it before we even get there, so that when we get on the battlefield, he'll be with us. You know what I mean? It's not just about just us going down there screaming and hollering. No, it's about actually getting an outcome. And the outcome that we are seeking, the main outcome that we are seeking, is the removal of these officers from the street until such time that we can be assured that they are not a danger to the rest of us. Because if you have expressed that you believe that black people are animals, that you believe that people who practice the Muslim faith should be killed, that you believe that protesters should be run over with cars, if you've expressed those things, then that is in your mind. And you know, our actions begin as thoughts. And if that's what you're thinking, then you're dangerous, man. You are a danger to my children, to my wife, to my family, to my community, to my neighbors, to black people. You're dangerous, and you need to be off the street with my taxpayer-funded gun that you're carrying. No, you need to be off the street. You know, and here's what I am assured of. I'm assured of the fact that there are police in the department, police who are black, who see this as just as big a problem as I do. It's a problem. And it's a problem that needs to be solved immediately. And so we're reaching out to some folks, some lawyers, some political folks, because this is a multi-pronged effort. It's not just about us just going out and screaming and hollering. No, that's not how we get down. It's going to be a legal effort. It's going to be a political effort. It's going to be a protest effort. And it's going to be an effort that's going to result in, it's going to yield some results. That's what it has to be, man. It has to be multi-pronged. We got people in every level of our society, and we need to learn how to work together for a common goal in order to achieve something other than cussing somebody out. People want you to cuss them out, because that's okay, you cuss them out, and then what? They might call the cops on you. You the one in trouble. No, it's not. Nope. This is about actually achieving some goals, man, and protecting our community. 12 noon on Friday. I need to see you there at 8th and Race as we rally for justice. I'm going to go back to the phone lines and talk to Antoinette from Southwest on line 1. Good morning.
Good morning, Brother Solomon and Queen Kawesa. I am so glad, that you all will be there, and that you have got the permit, and being as though to being injured on duty and medical conditions and so forth. I'm going to hold you up, all of you up in prayer. That the Lord will have His hedge of protection going to, during, and from the police station.
Amen.
So I have y'all on my prayer list, and I've been praying for this for quite some time. So I'm praying for you all, and it's going to be a blessed outcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Antoinette. We appreciate you. Let's get Dave from Northern Liberties on line 2. Go ahead, Dave.
Good morning, sir, and thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Kudos to Queen Kawesa and Miss Mary of Mount Airy. Now, what I have to say is they went through a lot of trouble in the Northeast of changing all these policemen around, rearranging districts and everything to hire people who have no vital interest and no physical interest of living in these areas to protect us. And actually, they don't care about the only qualification that they had a military background. Now, this is a combat background because they think this is what's needed in urban and in city environments, which is, not the case. Now, it also reflects some of the people they represent that live in the area, the same area that these policemen live in. Some of them are the ones that are teaching our children in these schools who also feel the same way, which, gives us, a bad situation there, too. So I appreciate you. I cannot be in that area. I'm disabled. I'll be at representing my deceased brother who passed this year. His grandson is graduating this Friday from the Philadelphia school down on Lombard Street. Now we'll be representing my brother at his grandson's graduation.
All right. Well, thank you, Dave. We appreciate your call. We're going to go to break, and on the other side, we're going to talk with Shannon Farrell from the Harrogate Civic Association. Harrogate, of course, is adjacent to Kensington, right next to it, and that is, in fact, where they want to put a safe injection site. There's a study that came out of Drexel University that claimed that the people of Kensington want a safe injection site in their community. Shannon Farrell, who has been doing petitions for months, begs to differ. We're going to talk to her on the other side. In the meantime, I want y'all to know that WURD celebrates Black Music Month with the next installment of the Walter P. Lomax, MD Jr. Speaker Series. WURD Speaks What's Going On, Philly's Next Generation in Black Music, at the Barnes Foundation, located at 2025 Benjamin Franklin Parkway, Friday, June 7th, from 5:30 to 7. Doors open at 5. The event is part of the Barnes First Friday celebration of Marvin Gaye, taking place immediately following the WURD panel discussion. We've got a great panel, including DJ Geek, Solomon Thorne, and DJ Reezy, and WURD's own Kayla J. If you want to RSVP for this event, go to wordradio.com or call 215-425-7875. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Brothers and sisters!
Don't miss The Source.
Weekdays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
on WURD Radio.
WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Hear that? That's the sweet sound of Minute Maid slushies at McDonald's, turning up your summer. Every sip, slurp, and brought to you by 3 refreshingly chill flavors like Blue Raspberry, Fruit Punch, and New Sweet Peach. Only at McDonald's and only for summer. At participating McDonald's for a limited time. Minute Maid is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
Be heard.
Be heard.
Want another way to join the conversation?
Follow us on social media
Using the hashtag onWURD.
Be heard.
Stay connected to WURD Radio.
Independent Black Media.
The celebration begins. Odunde 365 presents My Story, Wednesday, June 5th from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. at Miss Tootsie's Restaurant, 1312 South Street. Come out to hear the stories of building black businesses, featuring Rakia Reynolds of Sky Blue Media, Lakeisha Hudson of Ite Natural Products, and WURD Radio's president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, in celebration of the largest African-American street festival in North America. It's Odunde time. Hear My Story this Wednesday, June 5th. Visit odunde365.org for more information. Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Jam ride on the Schuylkill Expressway both ways, east and westbound. A heavy ride now this morning, southbound 95. That is jamming Cottman Avenue through Girard. Westbound Vine busy from 95 out through the Schuylkill Expressway. Boulevard Route 1 southbound. Your delays 9th down through Roberts Avenue. Again, jamming Ridge Avenue through 76. 42 northbound. Your jam Blackwood Clementon through 295. 55 jam Deptford in the 42. 295 both ways into 42. Heavy into Philadelphia. Ben Franklin Bridge getting busy on the downside in the center city this morning.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're waking up
with WURD.
Hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. And I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. And we're going to be welcoming our next guest. Now, it's Shannon Farrell. She is the president of the Harrogate Civic Association. And she joins us to talk about a study that's come out from Drexel University about what neighbors in Kensington think about a safe injection site. Shannon, good morning.
Good morning.
So I read through the release about this study, and I laughed because I've been to the neighborhood numerous times, and I know what the neighbors think about this, but this study seemed to find just the opposite. What did you think when you saw this information?
So I immediately questioned it. I knew there was no way. I have thousands and thousands of signatures opposing a safe injection site in the area. And so this cannot be a credible report. And then as I read over the report, I realized that they also done surveys and called them Kensington residents for the drug users that are here.
Yep.
So if they interviewed 360 people, we have 500 heroin users that are living on our streets in Kensington and Harrogate. So I thought, well, you could have questioned a lot more of them than you could residents and have come up with that. So I don't think that is the residents, because as a civic leader, I represent the residents. They just reelected me after 4 years in January. And I have never once had one resident from Harrogate or Kensington approach me and say, we think this is going to be a good thing for our area.
Yeah, and you know, I looked up some information about the person who was the lead researcher on this particular study, and I hope that I can talk to her. It's Alexis Roth. She is a PhD out of Drexel University's Dornsife School of Public Health, and when you look through her Facebook posts, a lot of it is very pro safe injection site, very pro what she calls overdose prevention. One of her posts talks about we love people who use drugs. Another one, she's taking pictures at Prevention Point with other folks. And so I wonder about the objectivity of this study.
It's definitely, I can't imagine that this is unbiased. If I know that the complete opposite of what the study is going to say is true, then I feel like that this research is trying to manufacture consent by the people in the area for a safe injection site, and she's clearly surrounded by the people who are pro-safe injection site and the people who definitely support one being on Hilton Street in the Harrogate, Kensington area. So I question the credibility of the whole research and the whole coming out and saying 90% of the residents in Kensington or in Philadelphia. You didn't interview 90% of the people who live in the area.
Right.
And I have over 10,000 signatures opposing it. So if they have 360 and I have 10,000, I feel like we win. We lose it.
Yeah. And I have to wonder about this study. I really do, because I was curious again about the lead researcher, and so I looked at the list of people who served on the mayor's opioid task force that recommended that Philadelphia explore a safe injection site. She was on that task force, and so was Jeanette Bowles. Both of them were on a subcommittee of that task force together. Both of them came out of Drexel's Dornsife School of Public Health. And now Jeanette Bowles, who was on that subcommittee on the mayor's task force, is now the executive director of Safe House, the nonprofit seeking to open that safe injection site. And Alexis Roth is the author of that study that claims that the majority of Kensington residents want a safe injection site. So this is not a relationship that has come out of the blue. They've kind of been there from the beginning. I mean, what do you think when you hear that as a community leader?
So when I went to Toronto in March 10th, 11th, and 12th with Rhonda and Jose from the Safe House group. And when we got there, I met Jen Bowles, who is now the executive director of Safe House. And when we were sitting there meeting with one of their councilmen, she spit out to him, well, we have a report that's coming out that 90% of people in Kensington want a safe injection site. And I said, really? And she looked at me, and they almost looked at me like, damn it, we didn't want to say that in front of her. I said, because I had just started my petition that week. And I said, because I'm already over 500 signatures opposing a safe injection site in Harrogate. So I guess I'm going to extend to Kensington. And Harrogate and Kensington are the same community. I mean, we don't see these invisible lines other people like to draw.
Right.
And collecting more signatures, I said, because I haven't come across anybody who wants a safe injection site. And I said, so let's do our own research. And she said, yeah, let's do that. So why don't we go door to door and ask everybody? But that never happened.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not surprised by that because I didn't know where the research was coming back from in March when she said 9. So in March, they already knew 90% of the people, or they were going to manufacture it. Which started what it sounds like to me. Because we had that meeting that you were at with the Safe House Group and 300 people came. And that night, 246 people signed the petitions against the safe injection site. And there were people there that had already signed and were circulating petitions that they hadn't signed that night.
Yeah, yeah.
So so that was almost the amount of people who they said are in favor of a safe injection site in one meeting. And that was with just putting it on your radio show and just doing social media so that, on the neighborhood pages to let people know to come. That wasn't even us was really trying to force a ton of people to show up because we knew that they were going to have a good turnout. So, and I remember when the Mayor's Opiate Task Force, the first thing we did as community leaders in the area was looking at, and there was no community representation on that board.
Mm-hmm.
So we disagreed immediately, and that's how we started having meetings with the managing director's office because we said, nobody's representing us.
Yeah.
You you live here, we see it, and none of us are on this opiate task force.
Mm.
And I'm becoming very tired and tired of hearing them say, well, the reason that the people oppose it is because they don't understand it. And they can't imagine that we understand it 100% and we still oppose it 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like they're insulting the intelligence of the people who live there as if, we're smarter than you. We're going to tell you what you need to do in your community. It has to be frustrating.
Yes, and that's exactly what we constantly say. We're like, we know. We're from Kensington, so we're the idiots. When they get on social media, they tell you that. They're like, you're uneducated. You don't know what you don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Or they call us horrible names and horrible people because they think that our not supporting a safe injection site means that we would prefer to see the heroin users dead, which is not true. But just the other night, me and my father were sitting on my porch, and right up the street from me, a teenager was shot 3 times in her chest. She's 18 years old, and she's pregnant. It's 30 gunshots.
Oh, my God.
Happened. That never happened in my neighborhood before. I've lived here. I'm 41, and I've lived here all my life.
Mm-hmm.
And at that corner at Emerald and Atlantic are drug dealers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why that shooting happened. And that's why there's a teenage girl that's fighting for her life. And I don't know what her update is since yesterday. I don't know how her pregnancy is, how her health is. But again, I had just been saying again recently, every summer we lose teenagers. And our children are shot or they're shot and killed. And that's why we oppose keeping this epidemic in our neighborhood.
Right.
And they did not find 360 people that live here that are not on drugs to say, yes, we want a safe injection site.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I question the credibility of Drexel University altogether.
Yeah, well, they had 3 people from what I can see, and maybe more, because I do have some questions into them that I sent out early this morning about their participation in this, because Drexel's Dorn Seif School of Public Health had at least 3 people on the mayor's task force, and so my question is, how long have you been connected to this? How much research have you done on this? Who is funding the research for this? And what is your connection to the mayor's office and to the Safe House group, given that your people are now going from being on this task force to now being in paid positions in order to run this? I got questions.
Yes, me too.
Mm-hmm.
I question the credibility of it. I question how this could be unbiased. I just do. This is unfair to us. It's like I said, they're trying to manufacture consent so they can put it out there so the public opinion views. Somebody reads that headline, won't read the article, and will say, but wait, 90% of the people in Kensington and Philadelphia want a safe injection site, and that's how they're trying to change the narrative. They continue to name game change from safe injection site to overdose prevention site to safe consumption site. So now I want to know how they question them. Did they use those words, or did they just say, would you rather see these people have a place to use not out in the public? Because a lot of people, that question would say yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, how did you phrase? I want to see the questions. How did you phrase the question? And given that it was face to face, and you had probably more than one person doing the survey, did the question change depending on who was asking it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So there are some questions that need to be answered, but you have over 10,000 signatures against it. Where can people find your petition about this?
So I still have one on our Harrogate Civic Association page on Facebook. There's one that I haven't printed out yet. That one I think has like 600 or 700 signatures on it. The rest of them we've been printing out and circulating by hand, and I've been using them to save for our attorney because in July our attorney is filing with McSwain and putting a brief in there from us stating we have X amount of signatures, we oppose the safe injection sites for these reasons. So that's who I'm sharing them with, because a lot of people were like, I don't want to sign it and have like reporters or somebody get a hold of my name and information and call me up and ask me why I oppose them.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody signed these, and with that, we would only show them to the mayor himself or to Attorney McSwain or to our attorney. But we still have a petition online. Those ones, when you go on, you can see who signed, but attached to the top of our page on our Facebook civic page, the Harrogate Civic Association, where people can go on and they can sign to oppose the safe injection site.
Okay. All right, Shannon. Well, I want to thank you for joining us this morning on WURD, and we will continue to follow your struggle down there in Kensington and Harrogate. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to go to break, and on the other side, we are going to talk with Lynn Washington about Donald Trump's visit to England and some of the things that are going on over there. As always, Lynn Washington puts it in context. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Brothers and sisters!
Don't miss The Source.
Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
on Word Radio.
WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
Hello, I'm Keena Sears Brown, Director at Drexel University's Goodwin College of Professional Studies, where we know that ambition can't wait and learning never stops. In today's ever-changing job market, you will need to gain new skills to stay competitive. That's why we offer in-demand, industry-recognized courses, certifications, workshops, and networking opportunities to keep you connected. Skilled, confident you. Develop your career learning path at drexel.edu/Goodwin/CPE.
Word Family.
Here's a deal from Dietz & Watson that you don't want to miss.
Stop into any Brown ShopRite this week to take advantage of the Dietz & Watson turkey sale. Just $6.99 per pound for the best turkey around. Running today through Sunday. Stop into any Brown ShopRite location and pick up something for the whole family.
1 week only. Get yours today. Dietz & Watson. It's a family thing. The Kimmel Center offers free arts education programs to schools across the region. Teaching artists visit classrooms to educate, engage, and inspire the next generation using creative learning experiences, and schools take trips to the Kimmel Center for live performances. The Kimmel Center is committed to educating Philadelphia's youth by providing access to quality arts. For more information, visit kimmelcenter.org.
Walter E. Sabbath Jr. Funeral Service is introducing Cremations Are Us by Sabbath. That's S-A-B-B-A-T-H. Cremations Are Us by Sabbath is the result of their 26 years of experience with individuals and families who choose cremation. Sabbath knows that families who choose cremation have the same needs as those who choose burial. Sabbath's new component, Cremations Are Us by Sabbath, emphasizes the wide selection of services they've always offered. Visit their website, sabbathcare.com, for details, or call 215-924-4101.
With the new Express Sports football and car racing from the Pennsylvania Lottery, you can play your favorite sports at participating retailers, bars, and restaurants. Make your picks on your play slip, like touchdown pass on the third play, or the first 3 cars across the finish line, and watch the fast-paced lifelike action on the big screen. With drawings for cash prizes every 5 minutes, there's never a dull moment. Come on, come on. Yes!
Express Sports from the Pennsylvania Lottery. Compete from your seat. Players must be 18 or older. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Lifting every voice
Till earth and heaven ring.
This is Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Black Talk Media.
Word Radio News Update
with Vincent Thompson.
Good morning. Here's the latest from the Word Radio Newsroom, 96.1 FM and 900 AM. Wilmington, Delaware police have made numerous arrests in a scheme in which shoplifters went to stores like Walgreens and CVS only to sell the stolen items to neighborhood corner store owners who then sold the products to customers. Wilmington police had noticed in recent weeks there had been a significant uptick in shoplifting incidents in the city. Police say they found at least 5 mom-and-pop convenience stores selling items that had been stolen from Walgreens and CVS. Police say corner store owners would pay the shoplifters $1 for each stolen item and then turn around and sell it to unsuspecting customers in the neighborhood for 2 to 3 times as much. All of the corner stores have now been shut down by Wilmington's Licenses and Inspections Department for various infractions. The investigation is still ongoing. It looked like a robbery scene you would see in a movie, but it was very real. Philadelphia police responded to a burglary alarm at a pharmacy to find a body-sized hole in the front of a building early this morning. It happened around 4 a.m. on the 2800 block of North 22nd Street in North Philadelphia. Police said along with the hole in the front of Just Here Pharmacy, they also found a broken window in the rear of the property. So far, there is no word on what, if anything, was taken. Police are investigating the incident. And low voter turnout in yesterday's New Jersey primary, all 80 seats in the New Jersey General Assembly, and one state Senate special election in South Jersey's first senatorial district were among the featured races yesterday. The two candidates garnering the most votes in the Democratic and Republican primaries for General Assembly advanced to run in the November general election. Checking sports, new Phillies outfielder Jay Bruce hit 2 home runs and 6 runs batted in his first game with the team to help the Phils defeat the San Diego Padres yesterday. One of Bruce's home runs was a grand slam. The Phils play the Padres again today. The Phils got bad news yesterday. Outfielder Andrew McCutchen tore the ACL in his left knee on Monday and will miss the remainder of the season. Bruce and rookie Adam Hainsley will get the majority of playing time in left and center field, respectively, for the rest of the season. And UCLA won the Women's College Softball World Series National Championship last night over the University of Oklahoma. This newscast is brought to you by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Play Winner Winner Chicken Dinner, the new scratch-off game from the Pennsylvania Lottery. Players must be 18 years old or older. Please pay responsibly. Vincent Thompson, Word Radio News.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
What we saw was misconduct by police. As Malcolm X said, American democracy is nothing but disguised hypocrisy. If you did see the video and you did nothing, you need to go.
And now, Lynn Washington, only on Wake Up with Word.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD. And I want to welcome our next guest. He joins us regularly on Wednesdays. He's Lynn Washington, a professor of journalism at Temple University, where he's a co-founder of the award-winning Multimedia Urban Reporting Lab. In addition to his Temple degrees, Washington holds a law degree from Yale University. Lynn, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon.
So we're going to be down there at police headquarters on Friday, Lynn. And we're going to be there 12 noon. And we are going to be protesting the fact that you have almost 330 Philadelphia police officers who have put racist or otherwise offensive Facebook posts on social media and remain in positions where they are patrolling in our community. So we just got to do that. And I just got to let you know that is what we're going to be doing on Friday. I don't know where you're going to be or what you're going to be doing. I know you're a busy guy, but I know that this is the kind of thing that interests you. So I just thought you should know. I went down. I got my permit. I did it the right way. And we're going to be down there, man.
Oh, well, thanks for telling me some news. I'll be down there, too.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
This is a part of a recurring cycle of misbehaviors by Philadelphia police. A couple years ago, it was a website that officers were posting on, and they were doing the same thing: racist, sexist, offensive remarks. That site was called Dome Lights. There was a lawsuit that was shut down, but it's the attitude within the police department, and it's the culture. And the crazy thing, Solomon, is, the thing that you're talking about now with the findings that came out, these types of complaints about bigoted behaviors by Philadelphia police officers, you could find the same thing in the 90s of the last century, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, going all the way back. It's ridiculous, and it's because not only does the police department tolerate this with, shall we say, overly generous or overly benefit of the doubt responses to police officers, but the whole system does. Prosecutors, the court system, political system, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is absolutely ridiculous, and you're right. It's something that's historical, but more than that, I think what you got to drill down to is the fact that this is the culture that is allowed and that is cultivated, no matter who's in charge. Like, this has been the long-standing culture of not only the Philadelphia police, but I believe you've seen it around the country as well.
Well, we've seen it, culture, and when you talk about culture, you're also talking about attitude. So let's take a look around the country. What's one of the big issues now, or not so much issues, but things that is going on? Well, it's this documentary, biopic, about the Central Park 5 in New York City. And here's 5 teenagers arrested by cops, and they went through the process that happens. People, forced confessions, pursuit of guilt irrespective of physical evidence and evidence of innocence. And this attitude keeps perpetuating itself. So even within New York, with Central Park 5, even when the actual perpetrator of that crime confessed and DNA evidence proved that this was the person who did it, the police officers that were involved in this, as well as the prosecutor who was involved in this, still maintain that they must have had something to do with it. If they didn't do it, which we said that they did and we convicted them and put them in prison for, they had to have been around. They had to have seen it, or they had to have taken part in some way in helping the rapist commit the crime. It's that attitude. So when you look at, say, the complaints that are filed against the police officers in the city, be it through the Philadelphia Police Advisory Commission or through lawsuits, you see these attitudes transferring over to actions by police officers where innocent acts, really innocent, just sitting on your porch in a black neighborhood or a Latino neighborhood is somehow seen as a precursor to some sort of crime, where the same sort of acts, or worse, in the Northeast or Roxborough are just excused. That's culture. That's the ingrained subliminal bigotry that manifests itself in enforcement actions.
Yeah.
Last year, that kind of attitude, they came in, the guys had to be wrong. When I say the guys, the patrons who were sitting there and doing nothing wrong when the police came in, they immediately went after them as if they did something wrong. And when you looked at that particular Starbucks and other Starbucks in Center City, you have patterns where police went in and initiated enforcement actions against black people. And this was confirmed by a Police Advisory Commission report. Unfortunately, that part of the report didn't see much media coverage.
Yeah.
And that's a part of this culture, and it's part of the problem, where this nuance a lot of times gets overlooked in the media.
And so, that is the thing that needs to be addressed, that culture that allows that. And you're right, it goes beyond just the department. It is a culture that has really permeated criminal justice or criminal injustice in our country almost from the very beginning.
Yeah, listen, but the officers who are accused of racism get the FOP support, legal and other things, in efforts to get their jobs back. At one point in the mid-1980s, there were 3 incidents where police officers who engaged in brutal acts were acquitted by judges. And the circumstances were so outrageous that even the district attorney at the time, Ron Castile, criticized it publicly. But but the FOP went around and tried to get these officers their jobs back. One of the officers beat a man in front of what was then Wanamaker's downtown, took him to the district police station there at 11th and Winter Street, beat him there, beat him so bad inside the police station that the guy who runs the lockup there said he's not going to die here. Take him to the hospital. They took him over to Hahnemann Hospital. The police officer attacked the guy again in the hospital emergency room. So much so that security guards had to restrain this guy, the cop. They fired him, which was rare, put him on trial, and a judge said, oh, well, it was just a heat of the moment. He really didn't mean it. Now, interestingly, this was the same police officer, only one of two, who claimed that they heard Mumia Abu-Jamal confess and to killing police officer Daniel Faulkner. And when they asked the police, this particular police officer, a guy who had been charged, fired, and then acquitted for beating a man, when they asked him, well, listen, if you heard this confession against Abu-Jamal, why didn't you report it on the spot? The police officer's response, oh, well, I heard the confession. I didn't think it had any importance. So he waited two months to report that he heard somebody confess to killing a cop. I mean, this kind of nonsense just goes on and on and on and on. And judges and prosecutors are as responsible for the continuation and perpetuation of this culture as the police union and officials in the police department.
Well, we will continue to speak out about it, and we'll be speaking out about it on Friday. We'll be there at police headquarters. That's 12 noon. 12 noon. Yep.
High noon. Okay.
Yep. We will be there, and because it has to stop. And at the very least, these people who are posting these things and saying how much they hate us, they need to be removed from the street.
They need to be removed from the street and ultimately removed from service.
That's right.
Now,
that's right.
You can't fire a person because there's those protections, so let that run out. But until that process runs out, these officers should be off the streets. They should be assigned to desk duty, and those who are doing desk duty, and why do we have sworn police officers doing desk work, administrative work, put those people out on the street and put these people, inside where they have nothing to do with contact with civilians. Because these acts by these police officers are not only repugnant on their face, but they drive attitudes, okay?
Yeah.
Attitudes that lead to arrest, attitudes that lead to gruff and rough encounters with civilians, attitudes that lead to lawsuits, that lead to settlements or jury verdicts where all taxpayers pay. So you have people in the city paying money through their taxes and not getting any kind of service.
Yeah.
Listen, last week I was out in Feltonville, around Rising Sun in Wyoming, speaking with a community representative out there, and the person was saying that when they go to police and complain about drug dealing, aggressive panhandling, prostitution, the response from the district police is that, hey, your community doesn't pay enough taxes, so we're not going to give you the service.
That's crazy. What?
That's crazy, but that is what's going on.
Oh, wow.
All day, every day in certain neighborhoods of the city of Philadelphia. Now, that's not, you can hang a lot around Richard Ross's neck, the police commissioner. And yes, that commander should also be removed. But this is political leadership. Members of city council should be outraged about this. And not outraged in terms of expressing that outrage 2 or 3 days before you're up for re-election.
That's right. Yeah. Let's talk about what's happening on the national and international scale. Donald Trump is in England. What's going on in England, Lynn?
Idiot man in England? Well, first of all, this guy is once again on an international stage making absolute embarrassment of himself and reflective negatively on the country. the president, before he goes into England for this state visit, insults a member of the royal family who just happens to be black.
Just happens to be. Mm-hmm.
Just happens. It's coincidental.
Yeah.
No conspiracy, no collusion, just a coincidence. Then he insults the mayor of London. London is not the royalty, although Buckingham Palace is in London, but this is the capital of the United Kingdom. And it just so happens, coincidentally, that the mayor of London is a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
So Trump is picking a fight with him. And then Trump is doing his regular lies. Okay? Oh, I don't see any protests at all. When there were thousands of people protesting him with floats and robots and signs, when he flew into one of the outlying airports, when I say outlying airports, Greater London has a couple of airports and not just Heathrow, someone had made a very profane gesture where they had a cut in a field, a penis with Trump's name on it. So, all of this is going on. Now, let's understand that while he's overseas, he's not making any kind of pronouncements in terms of, trying to help the world and do things. I mean, even the Queen, in a mild rebuke, said, well, listen, what has kept peace in the world since World War II are organizations like NATO and alliances. And these are the types of things that this president, the president of the United States, is trying to trash. So he's making a fool of himself, but he's just being Donald, the Donald being Donald.
Yeah.
Something else is going on in England right now.
Okay.
We have D-Day, June 6th, where the Allied forces during World War II invaded France, and that ultimately helped bring about the end of World War II. But one of the things we don't hear about, though, is that despite the valiant efforts of Allied soldiers, Americans, and others, it was the Russian army that beat the Germans coming east. But for the Russian army and Russia losing 21 million people fighting the Nazis might still be in power now. But what is also happening is something that rarely happens. There's a recognition of the contribution of black soldiers in World War II. There's going to be a plaque laid in Wales, a part of England, commemorating African-American soldiers who served in that area and who contributed to the D-Day effort. And there was an organization over there called the Nubian Jake Academy. And they've been going around the country putting up different plaques. Like earlier this year, they put up a plaque for Ida B. Wells in Birmingham when she came there in the mid 1890s, campaigning against lynching in the United States. And what was it? 2 years ago, the same organization created what would it be? I guess it was a statue or a memorial to black soldiers who fought in all of the wars in Britain. In Britain, there's over 100,000 memorials to various wars, World War I, World War II, different things. They even had a memorial to the animals who helped the British soldiers, the elephants, the camels, the glowworms.
Okay,
but there was no specific monument for the soldiers, be they colonial African soldiers or Caribbean soldiers. And that didn't come until 2016. So this organization is doing a lot to give recognition to people who've made such a contribution, and that contribution has been ignored. And we now have a president over there. He's going to make some sort of commemoration to American soldiers and to Allied soldiers, but I doubt if he's going to specifically highlight the contributions of African Americans, those contributions that have been ignored for so many decades.
That's a deep thing. We'll be watching very closely. Len Washington is a professor of journalism at Temple University, where he's a co-founder of the award-winning Multimedia Urban Reporting Lab. In addition to his Temple degrees, Washington holds a law degree from Yale University. Len, thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Solomon. Thanks for the news on the event on Friday.
Yep.
I'll see you there, buddy.
We'll see you there. Thanks so much. And I want to remind you that this hour is brought to you by Power. Philadelphians organized to witness, empower, and rebuild. For more information, visit powerinterfaith.org. They're going to be joining us as well on Friday. So we're looking forward to seeing them and you there as we rally for justice. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
EcoWord. Wednesdays on Reality Check with Charles Ellison.
4 p.m. till 7 p.m.
Right here on Word Radio.
And WordRadio.com.
You'd think that making $1 billion profit would be enough, but 3 big out-of-state nuclear corporations want even more. They're demanding a handout and $500 million every year, paid for by hardworking Pennsylvanians like you. They call it fair compensation, but it's really just another corporate cash grab. You shouldn't pay more for your electricity to pad the profits of nuclear executives and shareholders. Text bailout to 52886 to tell legislators no nuke bailout. Paid for by Citizens Against Nuclear Bailouts.
Listen live at wordradio.com. This is the Moravia Health Home Care Tip. The bond between a patient and their caregiver is very important. Empathy and attentiveness are crucial to fostering a trusting relationship with your loved one. When selecting a home care aide for your loved one to help with daily tasks such as cooking, cleaning, and companionship, inquire as to why the candidate chose caregiving as a profession. The right caregiver will have a good mix of professionalism and a nurturing, caring nature. Many families do not know, but the law now allows for a family member to be a paid home care worker. With training through Moravia Health, caring for your loved one directly just became easier. Moravia Health is dedicated to delivering quality care to patients in the comfort of their home. For more information about Moravia Health, call 215-717-8650. That's 215-717-8650. Or visit moraviahealth.com. Moravia Health, because there's no place like home. The celebration begins. Odunde 365 presents My Story. Wednesday, June 5th from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. at Miss Tootsie's Restaurant, 1312 South Street. Come out and hear the stories of building black businesses from 3 influential businesswomen. Featuring Rakia Reynolds, owner of Sky Blue Media, Lakeisha Hudson, owner of Ite Natural Products, and Word President and CEO Sarah Lomax Reese. In celebration of the largest African-American street festival in North America. It's Odunde time. Hear My Story this Wednesday, June 5th. Visit odunde365.org for more information. Now, a traffic update
on Word Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Unbound.org. Busy still southbound 95 this morning, jamming Coppin Avenue down through Girard. Jammed again from Penn's Landing down to the Walt Whitman Bridge. All that because of an accident now being worked on right near the bridge. It involved a truck that spilled some oil on the highway. So again, it's a big mess southbound 95, northbound side. You're going to find that busy from the airport through Island Avenue. Schuylkill Expressway both ways, east and westbound. Your jam, westbound Vine 95 right through the Schuylkill. Eastbound delays off of Schuylkill through Broad Street. Southbound Boulevard Route 1, you're busy generally 9th Street down through 76. Looking at the Turnpike and the Blue Route, both heavy. 42 northbound, jam Blackwood, Clementon through 295. Ben Franklin Bridge, jam midspan to Center City. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You could help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Back by popular demand.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD. And we're taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. I want to remind you that I'm going to be leading a rally for justice, a protest around the fact that we have 328 Philadelphia police officers in a database that shows that they posted racist or otherwise offensive material to Facebook, and they're still on our streets. And I need y'all to understand some of the stuff they said. So one cop published a skeleton wrapped in a flag with the words "Death to Islam," and then Officer Robert Oakes posted this in reference to what happens when he makes arrests. He said this: "These are your effing Miranda rights. You have the right to shut the F up. Anything you say will cause me to effing throat punch you." That's just part of what he said. But wait, there's more. In response to police killing a suspect who was allegedly wrestling for an officer's gun, former Philly cop James Snell posted, "Mess with the bull, you get the horns. Well done." Now, I need y'all to understand this. This is a 17-year-old kid killed by the cops, and this guy is on Facebook saying, "Well done." So if these are your attitudes toward the people whose communities you are patrolling, then you don't need to be patrolling those communities. You need to be going to your own community. You know, I really felt like when they expanded the pool of people that they could choose from to become Philadelphia police officers to include people who don't live in Philadelphia, I thought that was a problem. A, because there are people here in Philadelphia who need jobs. That's number one. But B, because if you don't live in the city, you have no skin in the game. These aren't your people. This isn't your community. And so you can't care as much about this community when you don't really live here. Like, it's, you know, I felt like that was a problem. I do. Now, you know, it's one thing if somebody lived here for most of their life. They lived here when they became an officer. They later moved to someplace else, and they already have a connection to the community. But when you're coming in cold from someplace else, and you have no connection to these people, and then the people don't look like you, so you can't relate to them at all, then you are going to treat them based on the way that you were socialized in your suburban environment. You're going to treat them according to what you've learned about them on the news, because you ain't never talked to no black people. You've never seen any black people. You didn't go to school with any black people. And so all you know is what you saw on the wire. All you know is what you saw on the news. And so you're treating these people with this negative attitude and with racism that you've been socialized with, that you've been raised up with, and you wonder why you have the results that you have. I always thought that was a problem. You know, and it's one of the reasons why, as a person who writes about, who speaks about, who does commentary about Philadelphia, you know, I live in Philadelphia. I pay taxes in Philadelphia. And so all of the policies that happen in this city affect me directly. You know, and that's not always the case for the people who are trying to shape opinion here in Philadelphia. They don't even live here. You don't have no skin in the game. You don't pay taxes here. You don't have no property here. You know what I mean? You don't send your kids to school here, but yet you're going to try to tell us what we should do, how we should think, how we should address the problems that we're dealing with every day. Miss me with that. I don't want to hear it. You don't live here. I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what I should think. You know what I mean, Kuwaisa? I mean, at some point, man, you know, we need to have some skin in the game. Now, the one thing I will say is this, that if you work in the city of Philadelphia and you pay that wage tax in the city of Philadelphia, because whether you live here or not, if you work here, you pay that wage tax in the city of Philadelphia, and guess what? You got skin in the game too. You do, because that is one of the highest wage taxes in the country. Right here in the city of Philadelphia. If you work here and you pay that soda tax, if you work here and you pay liquor by the drink or cigarette tax or whatever other taxes they put in place to try to soak the people and get all of the money they can, that you have skin in the game too. You know, but if you someplace, like I had a dude the other day, Kuwaisa. So I wrote an article about the safe injection site issue. And you heard Shannon Farrell say she's got 10,000 signatures from people in the community that are against it. And, you know, so this guy gets on Twitter. He from Nova Scotia, trying to tell people in Philadelphia what they should do regarding a safe injection site. Man, if you don't shut up, You don't live here. You live in another country. And you're going to try to tell people here who you just heard Shannon Farrell, 18-year-old girl, pregnant, shot, just up the street from her house, and you trying to tell her what she should do in her community from Nova Scotia? Man, if you don't shut up, you have no idea what's going on here. And that becomes a problem for me, Kawesa. Because don't tell me about studies done in Portugal and Vancouver and Toronto. Do this look like Portugal to you?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And I think that, people need to understand the fact, you have these studies from Canada, you have all these other places, but it's not the same country. You have different people, different, belief systems. There's a whole reason as to why what might work somewhere else in another country might not work here. And so, and in response to, because I'm not from Philly, but I am from South Jersey, which is right across the bridge, and I work here. And so I got to have skin in the game because I know that a lot of times what happens here in Philly, it moves over to Jersey or vice versa.
That's right.
So, you got to be invested because this is something that impacts everyone.
That's right. That's right. And so we need to deal with those facts. And so we're going to be down at 8th and Race on Friday at 12 noon. And we are going to be protesting the fact that you have people who are Philadelphia police officers who are expressing openly racist sentiments toward the people whose communities they patrol. That's a problem. Because if that's what you're thinking, what are you going to do when you're confronted with the situation where you have to deal with these people? These people that you already hate, these people that you think are less than human, these people that you're calling animals and thugs and savages and all of these things. How are you going to deal with them? That's a problem because it puts all of us in danger. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. Let's go to Fishman from University City on line 1. Go ahead.
Good morning, brother.
How you doing?
Hey, man. One in the number, we will be there. And
That's what's up.
We.
I hear you, man. I appreciate that.
My comment is about, do you remember that website called Dome Light?
Yes, I do.
And how they trashed the public of Philadelphia on how they patrolled the citizens they were supposed to protect.
Yep.
They had to take it down.
Yep.
Bring it up. Don't forget Dome Light. I mean, this is not no new thing or
That's right.
something just pop up. And my reference is Officer William Colorillo, who was a professor at community college and then went over to Radnor and became the police chief at Radnor. He is a beautiful human being, and he has a lot. William Colorillo.
I remember that name.
Thank you.
Yep. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio, and he's right. There was a website called domelights.com, and they were doing the same thing on domelights.com that they were doing on Facebook. It's a culture. It's a culture where they feel as though racism is acceptable and that they can say whatever they want, whether it's public, whether it's private. And then the danger is when, see, it's not about what they said. It's about the mindset that would allow them to say that publicly. Because if that is your mindset, then you are a danger to my people. If you see me as an animal, as a savage, if you see me as a thug, if you believe that I am a thug and every thug deserves a slug, then you believe that about my son, you believe that about my father, you believe that about my brother, you believe that about everybody in my community, and we are in danger when you are on the street with a taxpayer-funded gun, a taxpayer-funded badge, and the authority of the law. Like, I need you off the street. Because you put my life in danger. When y'all shoot people, you say, oh, I feared for my life. Okay, well, I fear for my life now. And so we need to speak up about that, and we need to talk about that, and we need to come up with a solution that the same kind of solution you would come up with for me. If I said that, I hate, a certain group of people or whatever, and I feel like they should be killed or whatever it is, that would be a problem. That would be a problem. And so for somebody who has the authority to kill someone, to say that I hate a certain group of people. I believe they should be treated like animals. I believe that every thug deserves a slug. I believe that when this 17-year-old boy was killed by the cops, that it was a good thing. Like, no, hold up. You need to be off the street. And we're going to talk about it. We are going to be out, and I need you with us at 12 noon on this Friday at 8th and Race as we rally for justice, because we cannot have people who have openly expressed hatred for us patrolling our community with the ability and the authority to do us harm. No, that is unacceptable, and we will not accept it anymore. I need y'all to join me 12 noon this Friday at 8th and Race as we protest and demand the removal of these officers from the street until such time that you can determine that they're no danger to the people that they're supposed to be protecting and serving. I'm going to go back to the phone lines, and we are going to talk with Wonder from Media on line 1. Good morning, Wonder.
Wonder, my brother Solomon, thank you for coming back.
You're welcome.
Good that you're back.
Good to be back.
You just kind of work so well. And you're not just talking that talk, you're walking that walk. What I'm trying to say, Simon, is I'm from media outside, and I think I'm affected by everything in Philadelphia. I come to Philadelphia, support Philadelphia. And when the Million Man March, I went to Philadelphia, got a bus, and many buses went down. We need that kind of turnout.
Yeah.
People that turn out to the Million Man March, you don't see this as something so important to show up. We are paying these officers to give us help. We're paying them through the taxes. That's right, Solomon, and we thank you. Be there.
Thank you. Thank you, Wanda. We appreciate you. Let's go back to the phone lines, talk to George from Center City on line 2. Go ahead.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
The good thing about that whole thing about those police officers, that policy that they have in place of becoming of a police officer, certain things you can't do and say and all that there, this would be the first time that you see Krasner work with internal affairs to fire some cops. Not only are they going to get fired, they're going to get prosecuted, because it's some little clause in there you just, when you become a police officer, you just can't say those type of things. So real quickly and shortly, they're going to be the sacrificial lambs of the whole country pretty much, that this is not what you do or what you think you can do, and they're going to get fired. Then they're going to get prosecuted, because, that's Larry's thing. He wants to make some cops have an example, and I think that McNesby and the rest of them say, well, these are sacrificial lambs. Let's bury the hatchet. You go ahead and prosecute them, send them to jail, do whatever you want. We're going to give you them, and then we'll make peace and move.
Well, here's my problem with that. Right now, them is only 7. When there are 328. When there are 328 who made these posts according to this database, and the database is very comprehensive, so I don't need just 7. I need all of them at least off the street until such time that they're investigated, that those posts are investigated, and then they can go forward from there. But I can't have you on the street when you posting on Facebook how much you hate black people. No, that's not acceptable.
Your question. It's so far, the 300 and whatever plus they have identified who they are. If they've not been identified, then how can they take them off the street?
They identified them on Saturday when the database was released.
Okay, well, then those police, believe me, internal affairs don't like cops. They're cops, but they put cops there who don't like cops. You've been around long enough to know that, Solomon, better than anybody. They're going to go after them, and they're going to give them to Larry, and Larry ain't going to have no problem whatsoever prosecuting.
Well, I don't want to make this. I don't want to make this about Krasner, because if Krasner prosecutes him, that's his job. That's what he's supposed to do.
That's his job. He's supposed to.
Right.
And I'm saying Ross going to fire him, which is his job. Okay. Let me say one thing about these safe injection sites here, Solomon. How many years you been around with politics? What, 20 years? Over 20 years, right?
Yeah.
And we know that. Now they're going for zoning for this here, or is it that the community is fighting the zoning? They don't want it to be zoned as a safe injection site, right?
Well, that's Squilla's bill. That's what Squilla did.
Right.
He did it as a zoning issue.
Right. Okay. So therefore, the only people have a say-so in that is the people within 250 feet of the place, which Squilla did was right. Therefore, if it doesn't pass zoning, it doesn't happen. But the mayor, as we know, if he wants that, you know as well as I know, Solomon, banging him every day, don't get it. Somebody got to go to the mayor like you and say, Mr. Mayor, look, can we work this out? Jim Kenney's not the kind of guy that you just openly fight and think you're going to win.
Well, guess what? We're going to do what we got to do. And, you know, I've had many conversations. I've had many conversations with the mayor. I hope to have more conversations with the mayor. But I'm going to tell the truth and you know, let the chips fall where they may. That's how we're going to do it. We're going to tell the truth. We're going to tell it on every platform I'm on. And as you know, I'm on more platforms than anybody. So we're going to tell the truth, and we're going to see what happens.
Tell the truth. I'm saying as though, do you think if you being who you are in the position you're in, don't you think it's better for you to make an appointment, go directly to him, which it always works, and talk to him where you ain't got to go between the minglings between and say, look, this is something they don't.
Nah, well, I hear you, but I'm going to do my strategy my way. But I appreciate you and I appreciate your call. But you know, I got to do my job, man. You know, and my job is to tell the truth. That's my job, right? And so we're always open to conversation. We're always open to that. And but in terms of backing off, in terms of not telling the truth, in terms of softening what is really going on, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that, you know. And so we will tell the truth, and we will let the chips fall where they may. We're going to go to break, and on the other side, we are going to continue to take your calls right here on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD. I want to let you know that this hour is brought to you by Power. Philadelphians organize to witness, empower, and rebuild. For more information, visit powerinterfaith.org. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
The Kimmel Center for the Performing Arts is excited to present the next installment of their Jazz Residency collaboration for 2019. In its 6th year, the Kimmel's Jazz Residency program is designed for groups of local artists to create their amazing personal stories through the jazz music genre. Performing in the Kimmel's SEI Innovation Studio Thursday, June 6th will be trombonist Dan Blacksburg with percussionist Joseph Goldman. Friday, June 7th will feature the amazing sounds of guitarist David Allen, poet laureate Raquel Salas Rivera, and violinist Diana Monroe. And June 8th, the soulful Latin American composer Dario Peñazek, lyricist Maya Peñazek, and singer Ariacine Trujillo. Tickets on sale now for these special BYO events. Visit kimmelcenter.org or call 215-893-1999.
Hey loves, Word Radio celebrates Black Music Month with the next installment of the Walter P. Lomax Jr. MD Speaker Series presents Word Speaks. What's going on? Philly's next generation in black music.
At the Barnes Foundation, located at 2025 Benjamin Franklin Parkway, Friday, June 7th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Doors open at 5 p.m. The event is part of the Barnes' first Friday celebration of Marvin Gaye, taking place immediately following the Word panel discussion.
The panel will feature musicians, DJs, and music leaders whose work aimed to amplify the voices of the next generation. Panelists include Solomon Thorne of Songs for the Soul Philly, DJ Geek and Sunny D of the Female Takeover, DJ Reezy from Black Mall Street, and Word's own Kayla J. West.
Moderated by me, the rapping professor Aaron Smith,
and me, Sincerely Sarita, host of The Lounge.
The discussion will also explore how they use their platforms to build community and create spaces to address what's going on in the world today. Seats are limited, so RSVP today at WURDradio.com or call 215-425-7875.
Word Speaks. What's Going On is presented in partnership with the Barnes Foundation and sponsored by Comcast NBC Universal, Pico, and Moravia Health. Support independent black media and join the Forward movement now at 215-425-7875
or visit wordradio.com.
Word Family.
Here's a deal from Dietz & Watson that you don't want to miss.
Stop into any Brown ShopRite this week to take advantage of the Dietz & Watson turkey sale. Just $6.99 per pound for the best turkey around. Running today through Sunday. Stop into any Brown ShopRite location and pick up something for the whole family.
1 week only. Get yours today. Dietz & Watson. It's a family thing. It's Wake Up with Word. Hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD. And I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. We are taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. For those who have not heard, I'm leading a protest this Friday at 12 noon at the police headquarters at 8th and Race around these officers who have posted hateful content to Facebook about the very communities that they are patrolling. At the very least, we want to see these officers taken off the street. We want to see comprehensive investigation, and we want to see them fired where necessary. And so I need y'all out there, man. I need y'all with me. 12 noon, 8th and Race this Friday as we go out and rally for justice. 215-634-8065. That's the number that you can call to get in on the conversation. I'm going to go back to the phone lines, and we are going to talk with our next caller, who is Karen from West Philly on line 3. Go ahead.
Hi. Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. In fact, I'm motivated to show up also on Friday afternoon at high noon. But I wanted to ask you to, well, hopefully influence the consideration on the topic of what is rooted to all this. I know if we see this on Facebook, I know what goes on in the locker rooms, in the patrol cars, at the bars. The comments that are not recorded on Facebook are much deeper. Mm-hmm. And I feel certain that in order for the city of brotherly love and sisterly effectiveness to really become a next great city, we must get a handle on this. The world's watching.
Yeah.
My comment and question to you and the audience, how do you feel about the 13th Amendment being a misunderstood, written ideal that makes people of other nationalities sometimes believe that this is still going on today? Because I hear you speaking, but that 13th Amendment is a very dangerous amendment to be in existence in the 21st century. It's the root of a lot of things that make our community always, even with foreigners, looking at us as the caste situation. So I have a way to think that we should call on the barristers to examine the relevancy of that 13th Amendment going forward in the next century.
Well, here's how I feel about the 13th Amendment. First of all, the 13th Amendment, the first half of it abolishes slavery. And so that is extremely important for African Americans and other oppressed peoples in this country. The first half of it, very important, very needed in this country. The second half of it makes an exception, though, and says except when someone is serving a sentence in prison. And so what it does is it opens the door for mass incarceration. So on the one hand, it abolishes slavery, which is a great and a needed thing. But on the other hand, it makes an exception and says except when you've been convicted of a crime and you are serving time in prison. And so certainly the 13th Amendment is extremely important, but it has opened the door to mass incarceration.
Well, I believe that enslavement has changed. Enslavement has become digital. Has become a situation where we are now part of the corporation, not only us, but the whole masses. I mean, it's an economic issue. I'm not talking about that factor. I'm talking about constantly reminding others that this group of people were treated less. And they keep dragging that on in their heart that this condition should continue. I noticed it in the eyes of men and the eyes of women, the fear, the false evidence appearing real. I mean, I don't want to take a long time, but I will see you at that location.
All right.
And I will talk to Lynn.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you for your call right here on WURD Radio. Sandra from Southwest is on line 4. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. I'd first like to say thank you for coming back.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I will be there on Friday.
Good.
My only comment is we've had protests in this city for many, many years, and it doesn't seem to be that effective, although I do believe in protests. I think we should come up with another strategy, because I don't think they're going to even pay us any attention, really. So after we protest, what do we do then? There should be another strategy, a follow-up. There has to be more than just protests.
I agree. And we are formulating that behind the scenes now. You don't want to tell everybody all your strategy, but we are formulating some things behind the scenes now with some people who are involved in the legal and political professions.
Okay, thank you. That's enough for me right
All
now.
right.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. See you Friday.
All right. See you then. We're going to go back to the phone lines and talk to Sarah from North Philly on line 1. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, King Solomon.
How you doing?
Queen Caressa. Never let the left hand know what the right hand is doing.
That exactly.
But faith without work is dead.
Yep.
Don't talk about it. Be about it. KKK must get out of our injustice system. Word up. Enough is enough. I'll be there on a good foot, Solomon.
All right. We look forward to seeing you, Sarah, on Friday at 12 noon at 8th and Ray's. Ricardo from Yaden is on line 2. Go ahead, Ricardo.
Hey, Solomon. Listen, I'm welcoming you back. I haven't called you, but I'm listening.
Thank you.
And I won't be able to be there Friday. I have a doctor's appointment, but I'm certainly support you in everything that you do when it comes to that and most other things.
Thank you.
You know, I'm a product of North Philly. I'm in Yaden now, but I born and raised right there, 11th and Montgomery. Went to Paul Launch Dunbar, so I'm well invested. Family members, worked at Temple for 30 years, so I'm proud of what you're doing.
Thank you.
The good work.
Thank you.
Want to welcome you back and give you that.
Thank you, Ricardo. We appreciate you, and thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. We're going to go back to the phone lines and talk to Raymond from Ohio on line 3. Go ahead, Raymond.
Yes, sir, Brother Solomon, on this topic. If these racist cops claim on social media that they are racist and hate black people, then, my brother, am I safe to say that that should be a hate crime if they shoot down black people? If they just claim and say right on social media they hate us, then that's a hate crime. And they should
That's interesting.
incarcerated.
That's interesting.
Right?
That's interesting. But again, you have to connect the words to an action. In order,
brother, when we get shot down 15, 20, 100 times,
right.
That ain't action from these races. I don't know what it is. We got to quit being soft-hearted toward these cops, brother.
No. You have to understand that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you had a police officer who shot somebody, and you could then look at his Facebook profile and see that he said, "I hate black people," or "black people are inferior," or whatever, that is evidence that could be used to try to prosecute it as a hate crime. But there's a very high threshold of evidence for a hate crime. But that would be a start. That's what I'm saying.
Sir. And that's a good explanation since you put it that way. But I believe in closing, good brother, that there's no such thing as good cops, bad cops. Because if the good cop saw a bad cop shoot us down, then he should step in. But how many times have you seen any cop, black or white, step in to stop a person from shooting an unarmed person?
It's hard to stop a bullet, bruh.
Yes, sir.
It's hard to stop a bullet. You could be standing right there. It's hard to stop a bullet.
Right, I understand that.
Okay.
But see, what we should start doing when they shoot us down, eye for an eye. Peace.
All right, man. I disagree with you. I think that we have to find a way to be smart about getting justice, and I agree with the caller who called earlier that it has to be a multi-pronged process, and it's not a whole process that I'm going to reveal on the radio. That wouldn't be very smart, but trust me, we are looking into a multi-pronged approach, multi-pronged solutions, so that we can actually have some success in what it is we're trying to do. Because the bottom line is, man, we got to protect our kids. We got to protect our families. That's what we got to do. And so that is what this is about. And it's not about hating. For me, it's not about hating police, but it is about loving my people. It is about loving my children and my neighbors and my wife and my community. And so we have to protect that. That is our job. And if I have the platform to be able to convene people to do that, then that's what I'm going to do. And I hope you'll join me in doing it. Will from Philly is on line 4. Go ahead, Will.
Hey, Solomon, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
All right, I'm hanging in there by the grace of God, man. Check it out. The lady that said that we need to do something after we protest. We don't have so many protesters, bro. And like what you said is that about we got to take care of our children in the city. And, you know, you're not like prejudice against the cops, and I can dig that. But we asked these people to come in, and we gave them control over our community. And a lot of these guys out here, a lot of these young guys, man, is no joke. They're like uncontrollable. And you are, you know, just a regular man by himself trying to protect this. And we done heard about this one guy next door trying to chase the drug dealers away, and they coming back and killing them, you know. And witness after witnesses against these people are getting killed, you know, and they have no regards for killing the cops. So what regard do you think that they would have for killing us? So we have to look at that. And then a lot of times I hear in the news about us, Black Lives Matter. But then we got to take a look at how they look at us and how they look at that. Black Lives Matter, but where's the Black Lives when, I mean, the hundreds and hundreds in the city of our young men were being killed? I've seen a lot of, and I'm out there. And anybody that's out there trying to help these young men out there that want to be helped, a lot of them don't want to be helped. But those that do want to be helped, those are the ones I bang the concrete out there and try to help. And I don't want to take up a lot of time.
Well, so I'm trying to understand what your point is. What's your point, Will?
My point is that I think it's time for us as black men in this community to get together and try to guard our community, try to watch out for one another. I go to mega churches. I see a lot of black men in these mega churches looking all everything flippy and everything and talking about, God or their family and everything. But I don't see this happening in the community. So I withdraw from that.
Okay, so your point is that there are young men who don't want to be helped, that there are people in mega churches who aren't doing anything, and that we have turned over our community to people who don't like us when we should be doing it ourselves. Is that your point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well. Let me just counter that and say that there are churches in Philadelphia and mosques and other places of worship that are actually doing something in communities, that are actually, feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, doing the things that their faith tells them they're supposed to do. But beyond that, there are some churches in Philadelphia, and you talk about mega churches, that run whole sports programs that deal with hundreds of kids throughout the year and keep them off the street. And so, I know what you're saying. But I have seen these organizations that you're talking about doing some things that you haven't mentioned.
Right, that's true. You're
okay.
Right. You're wrong. I think what I'm trying to say also, Solomon, is that in our communities, we need to be in the communities also.
You're right.
We need to be soldiered up in the communities also, because
you're right.
Soldiered up in the communities, and they're holding a lot of decent people hostage, and they're killing a lot of innocent young men, and there's no protection for them, and there's no protection for some people that live in the community of Philadelphia.
I hear you, Will, and I want to thank you for your call, man. Just don't give up hope, bruh. You know what I mean? I understand, seeing that, and some people aren't doing anything. Some people are in it for themselves. But, man, we cannot give up, and we can't grow weary in doing what's right. All right, Word Radio celebrates Black Music Month with the next installment of the Walter P. Lomax Jr. MD Speaker Series, Word Speaks. What's going on? Philadelphia's next generation in black music at the Barnes Foundation, located at 2025 Benjamin Franklin Parkway, Friday, June 7th from 5:30 to 7. The event is part of the Barnes First Friday celebration of Marvin Gaye, taking place immediately following the Word panel discussion. Our panelists include Solomon Thorne, DJ Geek, DJ Reezy, and Word's own Kayla J. Seats are limited, so RSVP at wordradio.com or call 215-425-7875. If you don't RSVP before 1 p.m. on Friday, there will be a charge at the door, so RSVP today. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Drive in with Solomon Jones. Drive home with Charles Ellison. This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Philadelphia, independent black media. Brothers and sisters!
Don't miss The Source.
Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
on Word Radio.
WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
Bachelor Brothers Funeral Services, proudly serving families in 3 locations: Trenton, New Jersey, Broad Street in North Philly, and Garrett Road near West Philly. A tradition of excellence, a promise of care. BachelorBrothers.com or call Bachelor Brothers at 610-713-5560.
The celebration begins. Odunde 365 presents My Story, Wednesday, June 5th from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. at Miss Tootsie's Restaurant, 1312 South Street. Come out to hear the stories of building black businesses, featuring Rakia Reynolds of Sky Blue Media, Lakeisha Hudson of Ite Natural Products, and Word Radio's president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, in celebration of the largest African-American street festival in North America. It's Odunde time. Hear My Story this Wednesday, June 5th. Visit odunde365.org for more information.
Word Radio News Update with Vincent Thompson.
Good morning. Here's the latest from the Word Radio Newsroom, 96.1 FM and 900 AM. President Donald Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, and other world leaders are in England at this hour commemorating the 75th anniversary of the D-Day landings. It is the final day of Trump's 3-day state visit to the United Kingdom. On D-Day, June 6, 1944, Allied forces launched a combined naval, air, and land assault on Nazi-occupied France. The Allied landings on the Normandy, France beaches marked the start of a long and costly campaign to liberate Northwest Europe from German occupation and the eventual end of World War II. D-Day is the largest combined air, naval, and land operation in history. At least 2,000 African-American U.S. Army soldiers participated in D-Day, including the late Staff Sergeant Waverly Woody Woodson Jr., who was a 21-year-old medic from West Philadelphia at the time. Woodson was severely injured at D-Day, but still saved lives that day. Woodson has been nominated for the Medal of Honor, the nation's highest military award for bravery. His family is still fighting for Woodson to receive the honor. The countries represented at today's event have agreed to make a joint statement pledging to ensure the unimaginable horror of World War II is not repeated. Called the D-Day Proclamation, the 16 countries, including the United Kingdom and the U.S., will commit to working together to resolve international tensions peacefully. Stay tuned to Word Radio News partner NBC 10 Philadelphia for updates on air and online today about President Trump's visit to England. And Philadelphia rapper Meek Mill has been granted an appeal court hearing with the Superior Court of Pennsylvania. It's scheduled for July 16th. Last month, the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office filed a motion that Mill, whose real name is Robert Williams, get a new trial and a new judge. District Attorney Larry Krasner confirmed that his office filed new documents in Pennsylvania Superior Court asking for a new probation trial for Mill. The DA's office says it appeared Judge Denise Brinkley was biased against Mill, pointing to a surprise visit she made to a homeless shelter where he was doing court-ordered community service. They said that is the role for probation officers, not a judge. Meek Mill was originally sentenced to 2 to 4 years in prison, but was released in 2018 on bond. Checking sports, the Golden State Warriors will play the Toronto Raptors in Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight. The series is tied at 1 game each, and former St. Joseph University head basketball coach Phil Martelli has been hired as the assistant coach at the University of Michigan. Vincent Thompson, Word Radio News.
You're waking up
with Word.
Hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD. And I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. And we are going to talk with our next guest. Melanie Bryant-Hurst is, of course, a doctoral candidate at Widener University. She's the First Lady of Mount Pisgah AME in Jersey City, New Jersey. She joins us to answer life's biggest questions. And Melanie, welcome back to Wake Up with Word.
Hey, Solomon, how are you?
I am so great. And, of course, I need to mention Melanie, my cousin.
Yay.
That is my cousin. So, listen, I got a question for you from one of our listeners.
Okay.
All right. So, here's the question. Dear Melanie, we're really looking forward to hosting a family cookout this year, but we're not looking forward to Cousin Junebug, who always comes to cookouts with his own foil and nothing else. It's not that we mind sharing, but Cousin Junebug has 5 kids, and he always packed 2 plates for each one of those kids. Mama keep telling us not to say anything, but if he does it again this year, I just might explode. How should we handle it? Signed, Real Tired of Reynolds Rap.
Listen, they're real tired of Reynolds Rap. Look, the entire black delegation knows there's some unwritten rules that come along with cookout season. Not barbecue season, it's called cookout season. And clearly, Solomon, we just got to go over a few of them.
Okay.
Listen, number one, the cookout is not the opportunity to try new recipes. Now, social media got people messed up, Solomon. Listen, the Tasty channel and the Cooking channel and the channel where the man cooks outside in the woods all the time. And I'm still trying to figure out where he washes his hands at, you know. But listen, they all explore great-looking recipes, but all of those videos have one thing in common. There's not near, yes, I said it, not near drop of Lowry seasoning salt, garlic powder, or onion powder, nothing, okay? So using the cookout to experiment with the latest version of macaroni and cheese that you saw on the Tasty channel on Facebook is a no-no.
Amen.
Okay?
Amen.
We need to put that out there. Listen, number 2, if you cannot properly count your books, if you don't know the difference between the big joker and the little joker, if you still get confused about whether the deuce of diamonds comes before or after the deuce of spades, or if you just learned to play a few months ago, you cannot play spades, okay?
That's right.
Listen, if it's one thing we know, it's this. You will lose family members. You will lose longtime friends and aunties and cousins over a lost game of spades, especially if your lack of skills is what caused the loss. And at this point, just go sit as an observer and keep your mouth shut. Or better yet, just go sit at the kids' table and join in a rousing game of Candyland or whatever they play these days, okay? And number 3, here it is. If you come to the cookout empty-handed, okay, with nothing, and it could be for any reason. Maybe your money was funny or your change was strange, or maybe you didn't have time to stop and grab the ice and the cups. And you know the rule is the ones who aren't trusted to cook are always the ones, like myself, responsible for the cups and the ice at the cookout. It doesn't matter.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
Whatever the reason you might come empty-handed, it's a strict limit on how many plates you can pack up. Okay? Listen, this is the general rule. For every one person who comes to the cookout, there's a 1-plate takeaway maximum. Now, that rule applies to every person who shows up if they bring something or if they don't. If you bring something like a dish to the cookout, you're allowed to take 1 plate of food. So, example, burgers, ribs, and the meat, okay? And then you're allowed to take a smaller plate with the sides, like macaroni salad, the potato salad, baked beans, whatever. And if you have any children that's less than 3, okay, you can pile each of those plates a little higher to make sure that everyone can get a second meal when they get home, all right? But if you have more than 3 small kids, you can pack 2 main plates and 2 small plates. That's the rule. But if you ain't bring nothing, okay, I'm talking about nothing but yourself.
That's right.
To the cookout, and you have any amount of small children, the only thing you are allowed to take from the cookout, and this is serious, the only thing you could take, if you don't bring anything, you could take some bottles of water and some cans of soda home. Okay? And I'm not talking about the legit soda. No, we're not talking about the Coke or the Pepsi or the Sprite. You can't take that. You
That's
can
right.
take home the water and the ShopRite soda. You know, Solomon.
That's right.
The
Generic.
Cola that's right. The cola instead of the Pepsi. You could take the lemon lime instead of the Sprite. And you could take that Mr. Phibbs instead of the Dr. Pepsi. All right? You can't take the name brand soda.
No, you cannot.
Nothing.
No, you can't.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Now,
right.
it is what it is. You better eat as much as you can while you're at the cookout. Okay? Now, maybe when Obama was president, you might have been able to take some plates. But now, oh no, times have changed.
That's
so
right.
Uncle Junebug, don't get mad at the host. Don't get mad at the family. I think be mad at 45. It's his fault. It's his fault. You can't pack up plates like you used to. And that's that. And so, Listen,
That's-
it is what it is.
It is what it is, and we needed to get that out because it's the beginning of summer, and the cookouts get ready to start, and y'all just need to understand the rules.
There you go.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
get
it's
that Mr. Phibbs instead of Dr. Pepper and enjoy your ride home with a nice cold soda and a bottle of water.
that's all you get. Don't be taking no plates. Don't be bringing no foil because that's going to be confiscated at the door.
There you go.
That is Melanie Bryant Hurst. She is a doctoral candidate at Widener University. She's the first lady of Mount Pisgah AME in Jersey City, New Jersey, where the Reverend Dr. Stanley Hurst II is the pastor. Melanie, thanks so much.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, we'll talk to you later. So if you have a question for Dear Melanie, you can go to our website, wordradio.com, and we have a link there where you can submit your questions to Dear Melanie because we so enjoy her answers. So we need your questions. So go to the website, wordradio.com, WURD radio.com, and submit your questions for Dear Melanie about the cookout. Look, we going to be having some cookouts, Kawesa, and I think that was a very much needed guideline to the black cookout experience.
Oh no, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, you don't be showing up to the cookout empty. Bring something.
Bring
if you
something.
bring something, then you could take something home.
Right.
But if
right.
you don't bring nothing, just like she said, eat what you can there and then bye. You gotta go.
See ya.
See ya.
You
No.
can get some store brand soda and because see, Melanie live in Jersey City now, but she grew up here, but she ain't been here since the soda tax. So for real, you
Don't
can't
take
even
none of that
take
soda.
you can't even take the soda because it's a tax on that soda.
Right.
That soda costs twice as much as it used to. So no, you can't take none of that either. You can get a little plastic cup full. Take it with you in the car. Make sure you don't spill it. Don't fill it up to the rim because it might spill in the car. We want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation. I almost want to ask, what's your cookout experience? What is happening with your cookouts? Now, y'all know I made that jerk chicken, and I put it on social media last week. I told y'all I was going to make it, and the chicken turned out good, Kawesa. It was good, but the only thing, this is what I learned, because my daughter likes drumsticks, right? And, of course, drumsticks take longer to cook than the wings. Now, as I got to my second batch on the grill, the fire began to die down.
Mm-hmm.
And so the amount of time it took for the first batch to cook, it took longer for the second batch to cook. We had to move around the coals to get the fire hot and all of that. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think that sometimes what we do is when we know that we have like a thicker pieces of chicken,
Yeah.
we kind of like boil them a little bit, just
Mhm.
just to kind of get a little bit of a cook so that they cook faster on the grill.
Okay.
And they don't take a little bit longer, but you don't want to overboil because then it'll be tough. So you got to really kind of know when to fish them out of the water, or else it's not going to taste good when you do that either.
Well, so here's my question then. So if you're boiling, because I have a rub on my chicken, not a rub, I had a paste on my chicken, and then I put a rub on as they were cooking on the grill, which makes the skin a little bit more
Yeah.
crispy and gives it a nice glaze on it, nice flavor on it. So do you boil them before you put your paste on?
And you gotta season your water too. So that's another thing. You season your water that you're putting the chicken in, then you take the chicken out, kind of dab it a little bit so it's not like wet, and then you put your rub and things like that on there, and then you throw it on the grill.
Yeah, because I let it sit in my paste for a few hours, and then put it on that grill. Of course, put it on the smoke side, not the flame side, so that it's smoking. And I'm learning. I had to use some apple wood. We don't have any of that pimento wood that you would actually use if you were in Jamaica, but we had some apple wood. Put a little bit of that on the coals, you know what I mean? Got that little wood flavor up in it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop talking about it. I'm making Kawesa hungry. I'm sorry, Kawesa, but yeah, I don't. Donna Fisher said no boiling. Yeah, I'm not gonna boil it, but I hear you. But I think that what I need to do in terms of that second batch is put more coal on the grill so that fire gets hot. You know what I mean? I need that fire to remain hot. I need that smoke to remain hot because that's what I learned. That second batch, it wasn't cooking as fast. But, we'll see. But I'm learning. and I'm going to be dangerous, all right, as we move forward on this grill. And I'm going to stick to my little one dish that I know, Kuwait. I ain't going to be, because Melanie was right. The cookout, that's not time to experiment.
It's not.
You don't do that. You know what I mean?
No.
Don't come there experimenting on the family, man. The family deserve better than that. They done raised you. They done bought you sneakers when you needed them. You know what I mean? They took care of you, and you going to come in there with something you done seen on the doggone cooking channel, and you know you don't know how to make it.
And those recipes on the cooking channel, tasty, what Melanie was saying, they are so devoid of any type of season. They put a little salt and pepper. Not even Lowry's. This is like salt and pepper. And I'm like, you can't put that on everything.
No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. We need spices, and that's the other thing. I don't trust nobody. Don't have no spices in their kitchen. I don't trust you. Something is wrong. All right, so I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That's the number. Let's go to the phone lines and talk with Louise from Center City on line 1. Go ahead, Louise.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I just love to. That's a beautiful team, you and Kwesa.
Thank you.
I really love to hear her opinion. I'm really serious. She's just a fired-up young lady.
Yep.
And also, I do not cook. I will not bring anything because I do not cook. I'm going to start back cooking maybe this year, sometimes this year. I live alone, and that's what I do, what I want to do.
Okay.
But what I do when I go over my mom's, when I go somewhere and they have a cookout or whatever, or something on Thanksgiving or whatever, you know what I do? I'll bring something like cups or plates or something like that.
Yeah, that's within the rules. You can do that. That's fine.
You know what I do? I clean. I said, look, I wash the dishes.
Okay.
I'll clean in a minute.
And see, you might get an extra plate for that. You might get
Also, I just want to say one thing about this. It's really sad. What I read in the paper yesterday about these 7 cops, like you said, there's 328. Okay, there's not. I put them all out there.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to say this again in closing, and I'm going to say it 1,000 more times. And instead of the taxpayers paying out all this money when they file suit, when there's a suit filed against the cops, take it out of their pocket.
I agree.
Take something out of their pocket.
I agree.
Let them be accountable for that. And guess what? We might not even have that many cops on
That's right.
after that.
That's right.
So that's what I need to say.
That's right.
Out there. Let them pay for their own lawsuits.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. And I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Yeah, it's a strange thing that happens, Kwesa, when you got to start paying the money out your own pocket. Strange things begin to happen. You begin to be a little bit more responsible. You begin to be a little bit more accountable. You begin to be a little bit more willing to do the right thing when the money comes out of your pocket. Have you noticed that, Kwesa, or is it just me?
Oh, I've noticed it.
Yeah,
Of course. Yeah, whenever I gotta, pull. Yeah. And the other thing too is when you're struggling, and you got to pay, a little bit more money, it makes you recognize and be a little bit more attentive to how that money is being spent.
I know that's right. It certainly does. And so I agree with that assessment that, you know what, you did it, you pay. We ain't do it. Why we got to pay for you? You know what I mean? We pay part of it maybe, but something got to come out of your pocket so that you understand, don't do this again. Like touching a hot stove. You understand, don't do this again, which reminds me, we were over there in your native state, New Jersey, the other day, and shout out to Elmer Smith, who was a columnist at the Philadelphia Bulletin and then at the Daily News for many, many years, someone that I continue to look up to as a columnist that followed in his footsteps. He invited us out to his church to talk about genealogy. My wife has done a lot of research on her family tree, and so we were out there talking about that. I talked about some of the things I do here and some of my other endeavors. It was a nice time. But then coming back from New Jersey, Kwesa, y'all got too many jug handles, too many, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's wrong with your roads, Kwesa?
It's a lot, It's rough. And you know what else I noticed too is that you can't, in Jersey, you can't really U-turn too much.
Nope.
So, when I'm here and I'm like, oh, I can U-turn? Oh, okay. Let me just bust this U-turn really quickly. But yeah, those jug handles, they'll get you every time. And then you miss it. Don't miss it, because then you got to wait like another 2 miles or so down the road to do it again and try.
Oh, man, it's crazy. So we ended up on the Bristol Bridge, the Burlington-Bristol Bridge.
Yeah.
which is a really thin bridge. That's A. And then B, the cops was on it, and it was some kind of construction, and so we had to sit there for 20 minutes. And you're right, you cannot turn around. You can't turn around, so now it's all these cars behind. We stuck. You know what I mean? So, yeah, thank you for your state and its bridges.
Welcome. You're welcome.
We're going to go to break, and on the other side, we are going to continue the show right here on WURD. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Listen to Word Radio on the go with the Word Radio app. Search for WURD in your favorite app store today and take us with you wherever you go. Stay connected to Word Radio, independent black media.
Word family.
Here's a deal from Dietz & Watson that you don't want to miss.
Stop into any Brown ShopRite this week to take advantage of the Dietz & Watson turkey sale. Just $6.99 per pound for the best turkey around. Running today through Sunday. Stop into any Brown ShopRite location and pick up something for the whole family.
1 week only. Get yours today. Dietz & Watson. It's a family thing.
WordRadio.com.
Who will protect the citizens of the tri-state area from careless motorists, doctors who make medical mistakes, and companies that make defective products? Who will ensure that property owners are held accountable for dangerous conditions on their land? Who will represent the people with the honesty, integrity, and compassion that they deserve?
I will. I'm Sam Anion, your advocate, your lawyer, but most importantly, I'm your friend.
For more information, call 215-935-6901. That's 215-935-6901. Call now.
Hi, this is Congressman Dwight Evans, inviting you to my Federal Service Job Fair from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. this Saturday at the Sheet Metal Workers Union Hall, 1301 South Columbus Boulevard. You can learn more about veterans benefits, Social Security, and Medicare, and meet with agencies that are hiring. If you have a question, please call my office at 215-276-0340. That's 215-276-0340. Paid for with the official funds from the office of Congressman Dwight Evans.
The Kimmel Center for the Performing Arts presents Philadelphia hip-hop legend Rennie Harris. In his new work, Functified, Harris's Pure Movement Company pushes the boundaries of street dance to create a multimedia performance set to the soundtrack of 1970s funk music and more. Through live musicians and the creation of an eclectic soundscape, audiences are drawn into Harris's personal journey from the culture of funk music to the evolution of hip-hop. Rennie Harris, Functified. 3 performances only, June 7th and 8th. Tickets at kimmelcenter.org.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD, and we're taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. And we're talking about a number of things this morning, including our top 3 stories, which are story number 1, Oregon moved to crack down on racially motivated 911 calls on Monday, responding to a series of publicized incidents across the country where predominantly white civilians called the police on black folk going about everyday activities like napping or barbecuing. So barbecue Becky, look out because now you might be fined $250, or they might be able to sue you for $250 for calling the cops on us for nothing. Amen. Story number 2, Drexel study says majority of community supports proposed overdose prevention site in Philadelphia. Really? Says Shannon Farrell, who is president of the Harrogate Civic Association, because she got 10,000 signatures against it. They interviewed 360 people, including many people who are using drugs apparently in that community, said, hey, you want a safe injection site? And people on drugs said, sure. So I want to talk to the person who did that report, because there are some interesting things I think about about the history of that. And, of course, the Dornsife School of Public Health at Drexel University, involved in the mayor's opioid task force from the very beginning, and involved in recommending a safe injection site for this community. And, of course, now you have two people from that school now involved in the research. That is Alexis Roth. And then you have another from that school who is now the executive director of Safe House, the nonprofit looking to put together a safe injection site. Makes you kind of wonder about the connection between this university, this School of Public Health, the mayor's office, and that nonprofit Safe House, because the same names keep popping up again and again and again, and have been involved in it from the beginning. So I will be reaching out to Alexis Roth because I have some questions about that study, and hopefully we'll be able to get her on the air to answer some of that. So we're going to go back to the phone lines. We're going to talk with Jean from West Philly on line 1. Go ahead, Jean.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
Kawesa, and the listening audience. I think that report, was it a report or an article about the Facebook comments and whatnot about the officers?
It was actually a report. They put a database together, which chronicled the Facebook posts by the officers, and then there were several stories written about that data that had been collected in that database.
Okay. I remember that you had interviewed the woman, I think it was yesterday, and you asked her what would be the solution, or no. You asked her what were some of the comments, and she said that she didn't have that information because she didn't put together the report.
I know the question you're talking about, and actually the question was, what were some of the actions that had been taken by these same officers that lined up with their comments? And so that's why I said there have been several stories written about it. So some of the stories only talked about the database and the Facebook post, but there was another story that talked about the actions that officers had taken that were in line with what they had said on Facebook. So she didn't write that article, she just collected the data. And that's why she answered that way.
All right. Okay, well, I kind of think that really that whole thing is really just a dog whistle to let the other races know that it's okay, we got it under control here in Philly. Come move to Philly. We got these people under control. I just don't think that these people have any intentions of doing the right thing and being about justice. And I think it would be I'm leery about protesting and stuff like that. I don't think it's really a safe thing to do, but if people still want to do it, more power to you. But I just don't think that these people are really moved or motivated to do anything about it. They're going to report about it and talk about it, but there's not going to be any real action done.
Okay, well, I mean, that you certainly have the right to feel that way. But, in my view, you can't just not do anything. And so the protest is part of a multi-pronged strategy, but it is not the only strategy, and it's not the only thing that we're looking to do. And so I appreciate your call, and hopefully, you'll change your mind down the line. But, I'm not one that's going to say we need to just sit there and do nothing. I can't do that.
No, I understand that, and I agree. Something has to be done.
Yeah.
And I'll be working on some things myself.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Gene, we appreciate your call to WRD Radio. Saladin from Dover, Delaware is on line 3. Go ahead, Saladin.
Good morning.
Morning.
First, I commend you for taking action on this issue. I won't be able to make because I'll be in school. But if you look at Ballard, Kenwood, Willow Grove, Jenkintown, and Cheltenham, in the white communities, they don't have black police officers patrolling their neighborhood. And
not many. Now, my cousin-in-law was a police officer in Cheltenham for 20-some years and retired, so he was a black police officer there. But I hear your point. There aren't many.
Right. If it is, it's a token. If you know what I mean. But so we should do the same thing. We're going to be forced to patrol our own neighborhood and keep white police officers out of our neighborhood. But the bottom line is we're going to have to patrol our own neighborhood. And the reason for this is because if you look on the news, you always see them shooting us down, and even some of our own, because they gel with what the white police officers do. You know, that self-hatred that the brothers and sisters of the darker race, you know, think that they're white or white-minded. You know, so the only solution that we're going to have as black men is to patrol our own neighborhoods and we should keep white police officers out of our neighborhood.
How are you going to do that, though? How are you going to keep white police officers out of your neighborhood if the city assigns them to your neighborhood? How do you? That don't make sense.
Yeah, but if we patrolling, if we have black brothers and sisters, black men patrolling their own neighborhoods, then we don't need them. You see what I'm saying? Because now,
but they still, if they're assigned to patrol your neighborhood, you can't say, "Oh, you can't come in this neighborhood." Like you.
Well, we can say, well, we don't feel comfortable with you because every time we turn the news on, Sandra Bland is dead, Eric Gardner is dead, Mike Brown is dead. So that's what I'm saying. We're going to have to do it on our own, and they keep us out of their neighborhoods, but legally we can't keep them out of our neighborhood because we're black. So the only thing that we're going to have to do is unity. I don't know what more we can protest. You know. There's 300 of them on Facebook that said they don't like black people. You know, but if you look all over the country, you see white police officers shooting black people down and making excuses and getting away with it. So it's just not them 300.
I agree. I agree. There's a culture there. There's a culture there. I'm just trying to figure out how you keep police officers out of your neighborhood. Right. If you live in a city and they have been assigned to your neighborhood. Now, certainly if they have done something and there have been complaints against them, that's one thing. But just to say we don't want no white cops in our neighborhood, I don't know how you do that.
We patrol our own neighborhood. Just like Minister Farrakhan talked about the 10,000 fearless. So if you got four brothers on four corners, patrolling their own neighborhood, saying, look, y'all can't do this, you can't do that. And then you have a headquarters. And at headquarters, you have counseling for your people, you have job training for your people, you know, all the necessities in that little headquarters. But then you also have men patrolling your neighborhoods, whether it's cleaning, whether it's making sure that your children and women are safe, they're not selling drugs, whatever the case may be. But we have to create jobs. We have to have training, counseling, whether it's for marriage, whether it's for problems and issues like that. That's what Mr. Farrakhan was talking about, the 10,000 fearless.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I'm still on how you going to tell, you know, there's some things that I think we just got to think through in order to really bring those things about. So I hear you, man, and I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Patrick from New Jersey on line 1. Go ahead, Patrick.
Hey, Solomon, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. So, just two things real quick. The Facebook post.
You sound kind of muffled, Patrick. You sound muffled.
Am I better now?
Yeah, you sound much better now.
Yeah. So the Facebook post that the police put, the thing about all these Facebook posts is these are the ones that we can see.
Yep.
You know, what about the people that have private pages? You know, so
good point.
And here's what we can do. So these are public officials, right? So just so everybody has a little lesson here. Public officials' emails aren't private. Okay, so you can do right-to-know requests and request emails, all these public officials, the chief of police, to find out what they're doing about this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And second point, you're talking about a safe injection site. I have a business in Kensington, Solomon, and around the corner now is a safe injection park. They opened it maybe last week. So they're getting ready for something. So there's literally a park with a fence around it where people are shooting up throughout the park, and it's absolutely 100% being tolerated.
Well, Well, it's absolutely being tolerated on the street, too. They're on Shelburne Street right there at K&A. They're on Hilton Street. They're on Allegheny Avenue shooting up against the wall. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, you know, and here, so you understand. So safe injection sites, and the reason why the one that they're proposing I don't think will work is because they're not proposing a safe injection site that also has a rehabilitation center inside. And what you need to do is have safe injection places where people can go and be offered help and have social services in those places also where you can get them some help, rather than wait till they go to a court to get the help for, forced rehab. When people are after work, sometimes is the best time to help them get to the help. So that's why the ones in British Columbia work, because they're full-service social centers along with rehab centers that also monitor the drugs that people bring in. They actually test them. So the Philadelphia testing site or a safe injection site is not going to test the heroin or fentanyl either. So they're just, I don't understand their theory behind the safe injection site that they're trying. I think if they put it together as a full service type of thing where people can actually get help, and that might be a little bit more palatable.
Yeah, I think the people in Kensington just want it out of their neighborhood, and I can't blame them, man, because it's
great. I got a business there.
Yeah, it's been dumped there. It's crazy. I went down there, man. I've never seen anything like it.
You know what they call it now? They call it Kensington Yoga. People that are all, it looks like a yoga class on the corner.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right, Patrick, I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Friendly Fred from Northern Liberties. Go ahead, Friendly Fred.
Okay, Salomon, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. First, I want to give a shout-out to Family Radio and Jesus Children, Warriors. And I like to say it's family-friendly music, and it's about to go down.
Well, give a shout-out to WURD Radio. How about that?
Oh, I can do that, too.
Okay. All right.
I had to give a shout-out to them.
Uh-huh.
The Word family. I can say, sound the alarm, because this is about to go down. Let my people go. And when the power of evil is all gone, you can join the God of love and peace or burn in eternal fire. And you got two voices. You got the voice of Satan and the voice of God, and God is love.
All right, Friendly Fred, thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. We appreciate Friendly Fred, and we appreciate his call this morning on WURD. If you want to get in, it is 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on any of these things we are talking about on this morning's show. And so let's go back to the phone lines and talk to Cecil from Logan on line 1. Good morning, Cecil.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, brother. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Listen, let's talk about the safe injection site for a few minutes.
Yes.
Before we, go overboard with the safe injection site, we need to go back and look at the present system first. The present system of treatment in Philadelphia in particular is so corrupt, with money being kicked back to the providers of treatment, that we need to fix that problem first. I understand the concept of the mayor in terms of making sure people are, not going to be affected by the drugs. But the first thing we need to do is look at the system, the entire system first, to see how we can fix that system. That system is corrupt. It's been corrupt for years. I've been talking to the mayor about this. I've written the mayor about it. And there was a couple articles written in the Daily News. My name is mentioned there, and we need to talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what is it that you want to say in terms of talking about it?
Okay. Anytime a treatment provider can take a person in, they can spend 6 months in a treatment program for drug addiction, and the kickbacks. You have 60 people in a room watching TV, a movie, and the providers get money off of those individuals. That is nothing more than babysitting people and making money off of people. The system, the Philadelphia Health Department knows about it. I've been talking to them about it too, but they did nothing about it. And now we're talking about giving people safe drugs in a treatment facility instead of fixing this current system first. That's what we need to do. You look at that system, find out what is the problem. Why are we not providing people with adequate treatment before we begin to give them other drugs? And that's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, Cecil. And, you know, part of it is that, you know, there's a lot of money in treatment. And so the revolving door benefits those who are making money from people coming back over and over and over again.
And let's be honest. Let's be real here. The city of Philadelphia receives their money from the state and the federal government based on the number of people that's addicted. They don't get the money based on the people that's successful in treatment. The treatment success rate in Philadelphia is 20%. 20%. 360 people a year are addicted to drugs. That's the projection in Philadelphia alone. And so they get their money off the people who are really sick rather than the people who they help with their addiction. And that is the problem, too. The formula is wrong. So we need to look at the whole system first before we begin to look at other things.
I hear you, Cecil. Thank you so much for your call this morning on WRD Radio. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to get to our guest to talk about the problem with affordable housing in Pennsylvania and Harrisburg in particular and how it relates to us. Our next guest on the other side. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Listen to Word Radio on the go with the Word Radio app. Search for WURD in your favorite app store today and take us with you wherever you go. Stay connected to Word Radio, independent Black media.
Was that a contraction?
Will I have a private room? Should I deliver with a doctor or a midwife?
Can I try for a VBAC?
How much weight should I be gaining?
Is there a doctor on site?
Is it time to push?
How am I supposed to fit all of these appointments in? Can I still exercise?
From prenatal care through delivery to postpartum support, including our Level 3 NICU for babies needing extra care. When you have questions, Einstein Maternity Care has answers. Make your appointment at 1-800-EINSTEIN.
Be heard. Want another way to join the conversation?
Follow us on social media
using the hashtag onWURD.
Be heard.
Stay connected to Word Radio.
Independent Black media.
One Soul presents their annual Men's Day Dinner and Show, Saturday, June 15th at the luxurious Centurion Hall in Cheltenham, with live performance by Real Men and Philly's Intruders featuring Tony Strong. For tickets, go on Eventbrite or call 267-918-5522.
The celebration begins. Odunde 365 presents My Story, Wednesday, June 5th from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. at Miss Tootsie's Restaurant, 1312 South Street. Come out to hear the stories of building Black businesses, featuring Rakia Reynolds of Sky Blue Media, Lakeisha Hudson of Ite Natural Products, and Word Radio's president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, in celebration of the largest African-American street festival in North America. It's Odunde time. Hear My Story this Wednesday, June 5th. Visit odunde365.org for more information.
This Saturday from 10:30 a.m. till noon, join Congressman Brendan Boyle for the grand opening of his newest district office at 1318 Girard Avenue in North Philadelphia. Meet the congressman and members of his staff. Get assistance with various federal issues like Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid, getting a passport, and much more. The ribbon cutting takes place at 11:30 a.m. For more information, go to boyle.house.gov. This advertisement was paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Open calendar. What's my schedule looking like?
Next Thursday, you will be caught in an emergency flash flood between Park and First Street.
What? No, that doesn't work. I'm busy then. Decline. Decline.
Floods don't exactly work around your schedule. Disasters don't plan ahead. But you can. It starts with talking to your loved ones about making an emergency plan. So don't wait, communicate. Visit readypa.org. Brought to you by readypa.org, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
Back by popular demand.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD. And we're going to talk with our next guest because there is, of course, a problem with affordable housing, not just here in Philadelphia, but throughout the state of Pennsylvania. And so Kathy Posinger is the director of the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. And it's about $3.4 million that's being spent to fight affordable housing shortages in suburban and rural Pennsylvania. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Solomon. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure having you. So tell us about what's going on with this affordable housing shortage in the state.
Sure. So in Pennsylvania, like many states in the union, one of the challenges that we're experiencing is a trend where affordability of homes has significantly been impacted by a number of fronts, whether it's more people renting less units that are affordable to modest or moderate income or even low income persons, and the need for more affordable units continues to increase. Households are strapped, families are strapped for meeting their basic needs, including not just their rent, but their household goods and food and clothing and other requirements of just getting by on a regular basis. And housing is just exacerbating the challenging issue that they're facing.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you talk about what's happening in the suburbs and in rural areas, but I mean we have some problems with affordable housing right here in Philadelphia as neighborhoods here continue to gentrify as well.
You're absolutely right, and we see that on a continuing basis across the Commonwealth. And the administration has really looked at the Wolf administration has really looked at prioritizing and identifying opportunities to not only construct or build affordable housing, but also preserve the housing that's existing affordable within the Commonwealth. We know that a real challenge is within our existing owners, our seniors, our lower income home owners. We want to ensure that the homes that they're living in remain affordable for a long period of time. And we've invested very recently into our home existing occupied rehab program in order to help those homeowners preserve their homes, preserve their long-term affordability, stay in a code-compliant, safe house that's affordable.
So this $3.4 million in grants, how is this going to be spent across the Commonwealth in order to bring about more affordable housing?
Sure. This particular round of funds, the administration was able to identify $3.4 million to be able to assist several communities across the Commonwealth who have developed programs to work with existing owners. So in a lot of cases, seniors. In every case, they're low-income home owners. The goal of these programs is to identify the deficiencies in the house, whether it's a roof or electrical system or plumbing system upgrades, and completely address all of those needs in order to ensure that that home can remain habitable for a long period of time. We also require that they address any of the lead or radon issues in the property as well. We want these homes not just to meet the local building code, but also to be safe for the family that's currently living in the home, but even for the next generation of homeowners that will live in that house for a long period of time. And so we are excited to partner with organizations and some of our local municipalities in order to bring this program to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask in terms of people accessing the money. So you're going through nonprofits? Are you going through CDCs? Are you going through the municipalities, or is it all of the above?
Well, we actually work directly with units of local government. So our municipalities apply directly to the state.
Okay.
And then they administer these programs. In many instances, they're working with those community development corporations or redevelopment authorities or nonprofit housing development entities to be able to administer those programs locally, to get the word out, to ensure that we're reaching those that need the assistance directly. We actually award these funds competitively, and we actually just this week closed an application cycle as well. So we have, in addition to the $3.4 million that the administration announced just a few days ago, we'll be gearing up in the next several months to award an additional round of funds to be able to assist our families to maintain safe homes.
All right. All right. Well, how do people learn more about this program if they live in one of these counties where that kind of funding is being distributed?
Certainly, they can reach out directly to their local housing or community development office. They can also by way of DCED's website, dcd.pa.gov. They can find out more about the HOME program, HOME, and learn about the organizations and the communities where these funds are available. And we're happy to connect them with these resources. We want to ensure that they reach far into our communities where the greatest need is.
All right. All right. That is Kathy Possinger. She is the director of the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. She joined us to talk about that $3.4 million to fight the affordable housing shortages across the state. I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD.
Thank you, Solomon.
All right. Talk to you soon. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio and let us know where you are on any of these things we are talking about on this morning's show, including our big three stories, which are story number one, Oregon leading the way. Who knew? Yep, they have moved to crack down on racially motivated 911 calls, responding to a series of publicized incidents across the country where predominantly white civilians called the police on black people going about everyday activities like napping or barbecuing. So, you know, Barbecue Becky, Starbucks Stella. Yeah, that's right. That's my name for her. Starbucks Stella right here in Philadelphia. Stop calling the cops on us, man. We ain't doing nothing. Like, come on, Kawesa. At some point, man, you got to stop calling the cops.
Yeah. No.
You got to stop.
You got to stop. And, like, you know, just simple stuff. You know, we trying to go to the pool. We trying to go swimming. Or we're taking pictures of our babies. And you out here, you know, calling cops on us. Like, come on. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. And and cops, I need to tell you, when you come, please, man, arrest these people that's calling y'all for nothing. You got better things to do, especially here in Philadelphia, than somebody calling the cops because there's two brothers sitting down in Starbucks waiting for somebody. Like, seriously? That's why I don't go there no more. But, I mean, but that's what you do in there. That's the culture, right? You sit there, you do work. You might even say, can you give me a cup of water? You don't buy anything. There's plenty of people who do that all the time. That's the culture that was created there, but it's not the culture for us. We can't do that. Come on, man, get out of here. So Oregon leading the way. We appreciate them because what can now happen in Oregon is if somebody calls the cops on you for nothing, you can then sue them for up to $250 for the inconvenience of them calling the cops on you for living while black. Story number two, Drexel study says majority of community supports proposed overdose prevention site in Philadelphia, and community members are like, what? Really? Because we got 10,000 signatures of people who don't support a safe injection site in our community. It just, come on. Come on, man. Who did you talk to? Who did you talk to? How'd you ask the question? Who are these 300 people? And why did you count people who are homeless in that community as community members who are homeless and using drugs on the street? Why'd you count them as members of that community when you really should know that a lot of them have come in from the suburbs, got stuck on heroin, and got stuck there? That's not really their community. Why are you including them in that number? Seriously, man. I mean, so we were glad to have Shannon Farrell on to talk about that and talk about the fact that her data
gathered the old-fashioned way on paper with people signing signatures, say that there's about 10,000 people against it. Y'all talked to 300 people and said 90% of the community is for it. Stop playing. Story number 3. Yep, it began with a phone call from a man who asked me a question. Why, he asked. We keep talking about the racist and offensive Facebook post by nearly 330 current Philadelphia cops while never standing up to hold those cops accountable. I paused for a minute, realizing that he was right, and it was then that I decided to do something. And so on this Friday at 12 noon, I'll be leading a protest called the Rally for Justice at police headquarters at 8th and Race. Yes, we have a permit to do our demonstration there. And so, you know, it is what it is, man. We cannot have people who have professed hate for people in our community based on their skin color or on their religion or on their political affiliation patrolling our streets with guns paid for by our taxpayer dollars and with the right to shoot us like that. That can't be. So take them off the street, do an investigation, figure out what you're going to do, whatever. But they can't be patrolling our communities, man, because you're putting us and our children in danger. So I want you to join me on Friday at 12 noon at that protest, the Rally for Justice at 12 noon at police headquarters at 8th and Race. And our demands are going to be simple. Remove those officers from street duty, and then we can go from there. Give me a call, 215. Nope, don't give me a call because the show is over. But we appreciate everybody who joined us on today's show. As always, I want to thank our guests, Shannon Farrell of the Harold Gates Civic Association, Temple Professor Lynn Washington, Kathy Possinger of the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, and of course, dear Melanie, my cousin, with her crazy self, Melanie Bryant Hurst. And tomorrow, we're going to have Larry Holmes on. He's the former heavyweight champion of the world. He's going to be joining us right here on WURD Radio. And, of course, Jay McCalla talking about the political foolery going on in D.C. and beyond. And we want y'all getting ready. Get on your protest gear because on Friday, we're going to be out at the police headquarters at 8th and Race, rallying for justice in the city of Philadelphia. And so now, for super producer Kawesa Mathis, I am your host, Solomon Jones, saying tune in tomorrow at 7 for more Wake Up with Word. Peace.
Vital Signs, Wednesdays on Reality Check with Charles Ellison, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. right here on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Streaming live on WordRadio.com.
Attention Word audience, do you know that you can get help with your PICO energy bill? PICO is here to help you with financial help through various assistance programs, including the PICO CAP program, which provides a monthly credit for eligible low-income customers based on the customer's total household gross income and energy usage. If you are experiencing financial